Watch. Here's how to do it. Simply turn on your TV and connect your Amazon Fire Stick. If this is your first time using the device, follow the on-screen instructions to connect to the internet and log into your Amazon account. Once set up, you'll need to open the search bar. To do so, simply use your remote's circular directional dial to scroll to the search icon and select it. Now simply type Hochanda into the search bar and this will take you to the Hochanda app. All you need to do now is select download, and remember, it's free. Once this is added to your Fire Stick, you can move the app for easy access. Press and hold your home button on any app and then select apps from the menu that appears. Scroll down to the Hochanda app and press the button with the 3 horizontal lines on your remote and select Move to Front. And that's it. You can now watch, purchase and catch up with your favourite shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on your TV whenever you feel crafty.
Hi, I'm Rob from Add Some Sparkle. My wife Jackie and I have been running Add Some Sparkle since 2010 as a small family business. We're both very passionate about papercraft in general, and Jackie's particularly passionate with paper embroidery, which is one of the main things we focus on now. So make sure you don't miss our Add Some Sparkle shows on Hochanda.
Hi, I'm Lou from Studio Light. Studio Light has been around for about 40 years now. They're based in the Netherlands. It's a family-run business with a great heritage. The products that Studio Light bring us are very diverse, fantastic dyes, great papers, but all round on trend. Over the 40 years Studio Light have evolved. They listen to me, the demonstrator, and you, the customers, and really take our ideas on board. On the Hochanda shows, we'll share with you the diverse techniques and products will inspire you to produce your own individual pieces of artwork. So make sure you don't miss the Studio Light shows on Hochanda.
Well, hello everybody, a warm welcome. So we are having a double launch of our one-day special. If you're watching us on Facebook, if you're watching us on our website, if you watch us on Sky, you're more than welcome. So we launched the one-day special. In 1 hour, we lost half our stock. So 50% of the stock has gone. And we genuinely, please believe me on this, I'm not just saying it, we had a lot of stock. The reason why it's so special is John next door, I'm going to be introducing you to in just a moment. But what John does so well is he sees an opportunity as a crafter, because what he's given you is a slider die. Now, this is your main, you're getting more than this, but this is effectively your showstopper, your centerpiece. But with this, John's taken something that would traditionally take a lot of time and measurement. I mean, you might have made a similar card in the past, but how long did it take you? Because we did an example. I'm just going to pick this up. This is John and I just playing. It's John. Literally in about 10 minutes, he was able to make this. So you get that slider movement coming through. There we go, coming through, and you can decorate it any way you like, but it is the movement, the essence of the slider die that really makes it so special. I'm going to show you some other examples coming through. So how about this? Have you got any fancy papers at home? What embellishments are you going to put on here? Is it going to be an invitation? Is it going to be a wedding card, an anniversary, a Mr. and Mrs.? And we were talking about ideas, how would you use it. Imagine having a Mr. on there and then coming through and Mrs. His and hers, revealing something underneath. Or what about this? So you don't, I think every time I hold this upside down. Now you are getting the flowers with the one-day special as well, but I just think this is a very clever card. And you see how smooth the movement is as well, but it's fascinating. Being able to send that down. It could be a picture behind. What about new addition to the family, if you wanted to introduce someone to the family, and then you have their picture behind. it really does work. It's a card that will work for any occasion. I'm going to pop this down and introduce you to John. Come on in here, John. I know we're going to be doing our demonstration, but look, just for anyone who's tuning in for this hour, what was it about the one-day special? Why did you want to bring us this the slider die?
I really wanted to. So I got sent this. Jane sent me this as a Christmas card last year.
Brilliant.
And I looked at it and just thought, that is so clever, but I haven't the patience to make it by hand. So I asked her, and she'd made it in a class, and you know, she didn't. And she's saying you have to measure all of this bit here, and you have to make sure that the. And I thought, oh, life's too short.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't actually. I should have brought it, because I think I've got it somewhere. I'll try and find it out. The original card she sent me, and I thought, I'm not going to take it apart. I built it from the measurements and used my own sort of working out how to do it. And I just thought, I love this idea. We want smaller cards, we want flatter cards, we want things that we can send or that we can sell, but we want them to actually be something different. I mean, that idea from Roshan of having the bee over the flowers and then
Clever.
the little message, I just love that. There's so much you can do.
This is board now. This is just that one set with the slider card. So you're getting your foundation, that makes the working mechanism.
Yeah.
Then you're also getting your apertures in there, so your 2 circle and your hexagons. And then now tell anyone, what does this do?
So this is your positioner. So this lets you position whichever of these or any other dies that you're using as your aperture, because you have to cut it 3 times in the same place. We actually cut it twice. You can use that to make sure that it's in the same place every time, but again, I'll show that in the demo.
Okay, we will have a look at that. Okay, so that's your slider die. That's that set. But we're getting so much more as part of the one-day special, John. So talk us through. What else are we getting?
So you're getting, this is the brand new flower. So this, again, launched tonight. It was only seen at 8 o'clock. This is Blossom. And I called it Blossom because you can use it for all sorts of different flowers. It's not a specific one. So you've got the hand-drawn stamp there with all the detail done in pointillism. 1 stamp. So 1 single stamp and the corners. So you stamp the black corners, and then you have 1 die that lays over the top, and that will then cut you out 11 individual flowers. So that fits over corner to corner, cuts it out exactly, and you will get all 11 flowers stamped and die cut in 1 pass.
Perfect.
So it takes about a minute, realistically, to do it.
How easy it is to colour up as well, because you don't have to worry about going outside the lines.
No, you can colour it completely when it's been stamped, and then cut it out, which means you don't have to worry about colouring over to lines and things.
Perfect. Or, you know, it would be great, use your ugly paper. You know, your ugly paper technique?
Well, I thought we might do that in this one.
Lovely. Not only that, we've also got some really nice sentiments to give more meaning and context to our slider card as well. Works perfectly. All the sizes fit beautifully within the aperture. And really nice sentiments here as well, John.
Yeah, I mean, I said this, but I have to thank Maxine for these. Maxine Payne sent me most of these, if not all of them, Maxine, I think, because we're always looking for sentiments, always looking for new sentiments, and she sent me these. She actually also sent me some funny ones, which might be coming out next month.
Ooh.
So
Wait, will they... Now,
slightly amusing. I toned them down a little.
Will they also work within the slider
card? And they
card?
will fit within the slider card. Everything fits forward and back. So all these sentiments will fit within inside the Oakham, the Stamford. All of the bigger dies that I've done, these have been sized to fit as nice sentiments in those.
Perfect.
Because they're not small.
That is the sentiment. Now, you can buy the dies by themselves. You can buy the die by itself. You can buy the stamps, everything we're seeing here. But just giving you an idea, I don't know what it is with me and holding stuff upside down today. But look at the flowers, being able to use the blossom. Again here, the aperture, the blossom. I mean, that is a beautiful, beautiful card. When you couple it with your slider card, now using everything on there, come on. Now, isn't that nice? Or... how about something like this? It's refined, it's elegant, has meaning, and whoever you send that to is going to fall in love with it. Isn't that nice? Or maybe, now this is interesting, because if you just wanted to go and build your own scene, just flat there, and I love the design team have really embraced the flowers. They've tried to use it in so many different ways. I think that's very clever as well. Beautiful. Okay, so that's a one-day special. We are busy for our one-day special. Over 50% of the stock has gone, and that's in the first hour. So that gives you... and I find myself, I hear myself saying, John, you know, we had a lot of stock, but please don't think we're just saying that. Genuinely, you had a huge amount of stock.
Yeah, over the last 3 or 4 months, we've actually dramatically increased the amount of stock that we do put onto the Hochanda shows.
Yeah.
And it is big numbers. The other thing I've done, which again is important to me, I've made sure that all of the singles have got plenty of stock on them as well. Because I don't like this, oh, that's sold out, you've got to get it this way.
Okay.
If you want any individual part, you can get it, and I make sure there's a lot of stock on that as well. Because there's nothing more frustrating than sometimes you might go, do you know what, I love that card, but I'm not keen on that flower, or that sentiment's not for me. So I let people pick and choose, although obviously the better value is in all of it.
Special,
So we're going to put one together, but we're going to do it quicker this time. So I'm not going to spend hours cutting it. I've already pre-cut the 2 bits from the main die. So that's these 2 pieces here. I tape them together so that I can cut it, and I waste as little card as possible. And so you can see there, it's nearly a full piece of A4 card.
Yeah, perfect.
So I've got those, and I'm using a tape runner for speed.
Okay.
When you do this at home, use wet glue, or if you must use if you don't like using wet glue, use red liner tape. It's a kinetic card, it's going to move, and so the constant stretch on normal tape, on normal adhesive, will make it fall apart.
Okay.
So you can see you've got the lines debossed in. I haven't had to emboss the die.
Yeah.
This automatically comes through when you cut it.
Perfect.
So I have them made deeper. And all we're going to do is fold this little tab over here, and then fold this section in. And that's basically the front of your card there. You can see. Yeah? And the second piece we fold over.
So to get to this stage, if you think about one pass through your die cutting machine, couple of seconds, fold it, couple of seconds, done.
Yeah.
Whereas traditionally scoring it, cutting it, lining it all
You'd
up.
have to measure all of that.
Yeah.
And the original I had didn't have the little tab and didn't have that little protector there, but that to me made it so easy to just slide that in and glue it over. Such a neater finish to an edge.
Yeah.
When it turns a corner like that, than just being the bland bit of card.
Yeah, yeah.
So it looks like, and of course you can always snip that off. You don't have to have the pull. It
Make
will
it
work
more
without.
of a feature.
You can take it off and just use it flat. But the only other thing we need is we need to cut either a second piece of this for the back, and we cut off that section and that section, or you get in your paper trimmer and you cut it, and I'll give you the measurements. So the measurements are, we'll get this right, 4 inches, yeah, by 5 3/4.
Okay.
So if you don't want to waste card, I don't like wasting card and cutting bits off, so I've cut with my guillotine, and I'll get 4 of those out of an A4 piece rather than 2 gluing it that way.
Okay.
And I'm cheap.
Okay, all right. No, you're economical.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of tape there. I'm going to slide this piece in. There we go. Okay. Close it down, and that's then locked. But it gives you a really nice professional finish edge.
Yeah.
If that makes, you can see there it turns a corner.
Nice.
And on the back it doesn't look raw.
Yeah.
Again, you can put a piece in there if you want to, but it doesn't look as raw. It looks like it's supposed to be there. And I know a lot of crafters would disagree with me, but I always feel when someone says to me, when I've made a card, say, "Oh, that's beautiful, where did you buy that from?" It gives me that, oh.
That is a lovely
And it is to me, and I get that thing, and I say, and I think
have you ever had that?
little professional edge that just makes people think, and you can go, "I didn't buy it, I made it."
Made it.
And that really gives you the buzz.
Yeah.
So obviously we need to put the aperture in the middle. This time I'm going to use the circle. So I'm going to use the spacer bar and show what that was for.
Now this is interesting, because you were saying when you were getting this manufactured...
Oh, they really didn't get this at all.
Yeah.
The first one I got had a cut line all the way around it. And it took about, I think it was 2 or 3 days of emailing back and forth going, I want a piece of metal this shape with no edge. I don't want it debossing. I don't want a cut line on it. No, it's not at the edges. And they couldn't understand why anyone would want... the final email I got from our manager over in the manufacturers was, you do realise this piece of metal will do nothing. And I had to actually come back and say, yes, I understand it will do nothing, but that is exactly what I want it to do.
Well, it does something very important.
But it does something, but does nothing, in effect. So, when I put the hexagon in, I edged it there.
Yeah.
Yep, so if you saw the earlier show, you can see that I put it on the edge there. What I'm going to do this time, I've put some little marks on. These are almost arbitrary. I've not measured them, you could. And all I've done is taken one of my pokey tools and I've scraped in a little mark.
Right.
Yeah? And that means I can move that mark out to there and to there. So it's
just
on
sits a
those
little bit
marks,
higher.
yeah? And still tape it down to the desk, yeah? But that means that I can, if I go with those 2 marks, I can always place my circle. That is my placement. So there, I butt that up against there. Yep.
Because you're saying some shapes need to sit a tiny bit higher.
Yep. So the circles I found need to sit that little bit further in, a little bit further out. So I can tape that down. I can then remove that. But when I come to cut this panel, I can use that again.
Same.
So I'm just going to run that one through.
And it has to be precise, and that's really important with it cutting out the front and the back. That's why that little reference sort of corner's there.
I'm putting a piece of paper on top so that my plates don't mark it, because obviously what I'm cutting now is the front of my card. And when you put a piece back through a second time, it can get marked. By the time it's gone through 3 times, sometimes your card looks like you've dragged it through a hedge backwards.
Okay.
It certainly does on mine. That's why a lot of them have some, you know, layers and layers and layers on them, because I'm trying to cover up where I've really marked it.
Okay.
So we pull this out. Okay. I take my circle out, and what it's done, the dies are designed so they'll easily cut through 2 layers of 300. This is 250 because this is the linen card. And I wanted to explain why I'm using the linen card. And one of the reasons is I cut it originally, and I think I've got one there. Here we go. I cut this originally in my stamping card, yeah, which is a super smooth. But watch what happens when I fold it. Can you see there? There. It breaks.
Oh, okay.
Because this is highly polished card, it's compressed. When I break that card, it breaks.
Yeah.
So I like to use as the base the textured card, because when I make that fold, you can see there is absolutely no breaking. That is smooth, because the card has had a texture design pressed into it, so it's not polished. Which probably only makes sense to me, but I know if it makes sense in my head, it works for me.
A lot of crafters can relate, yeah.
So I've got those 2 pieces, so I've got my little slide in, but now I need to put a matching aperture in there.
Okay.
Can you see there? I've got a little bit of the tab showing, because I've gone in a little bit tighter. So my die has almost gone through, so it will just pull off.
Oh,
There we go.
perfect.
So that's gone off.
Yeah.
Looks a little messy, but we will neaten
We're going
that
to cover
up.
that up. Yeah.
You'll be a bit more careful at home. Yeah? Okay?
Yeah.
So now I need an aperture in there, but in the same place. So what I'm going to do is fold this tab back, because I don't want that to cut. Take my positioner. Oh, where have I put it? Honestly, I'm an idiot. So take my positioner, yeah, position it back on this piece using the 2 lines. Tape it down. Take my circle and again butt it up to there,
Yeah.
and that way it will be in exactly the same place when I cut it.
Lovely.
So we're just going to cut that one out. Again, I'm going to put my plate on just the bit I'm die cutting, so that I don't mark the card with the fold.
Yeah.
You don't have to be as careful at home. I noticed what a lot of the Leslie things have done is they've coated them with other papers,
Yeah.
which I absolutely love. So just the basis, you can really sort of decorate it. You don't have to be as careful as I'm being. I'm not quite sure where I am. I'm not usually careful in the slightest. But I'm not. Anyone who watches me knows I'm not.
Everyone's
So,
got their
yeah,
own
sort of-
crafty style. Yeah.
But then that piece folds in.
Right.
Yeah, there's my aperture. And there, my message piece slides in.
Lovely.
So all I have to do is put a bit of glue on there. Take the piece that I cut with the guillotine, or with the die if you want to. Tape that on. And there's the basis of my slider card.
Lovely.
Now, can you see how that's sliding about?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you need to do is you need to secure these 2 pieces together. So all I'm going to do is glue that down, so that that's fixed, so that it just goes like that.
Lovely.
And there we're done.
Perfect.
So that's your basic fold, but that's how to put the circle in.
How quick was that? And we're going to be continuing with this demonstration. This is our fantastic one-day special. The invitation, invitation? No. Innovation, that's the word I was looking for. I went blank. You were no help, John. That's all.
I'm no help. My mind has I've literally just gone into a fugue state, thinking it's. I know it's innovation, but
Innovation,
it's innovational. Is it innovational you were trying for? I've lost
Innovative?
it.
I don't know.
If you know, email in studio@hochanda.com.
Take a look at this. It's all about the wink there from Jimmy. Look, we have got such a special one-day special here, and I think John has hit the ball out of the park. What you're getting is something that is different. Thing is, if you make something, I like to make something that is a little bit different. It's fun, but the best part of crafting a card is seeing someone's reaction when you actually send it to them. So imagine sending this, and I really like the fact with the slider card, it could be anything. It could be very pretty, it could be vintage, it could be steampunk, it could be masculine. You can go in any direction you like, but what you're getting is something with a hidden secret. Because as you slide through, you can reveal an added sentiment. Now, it could be the sentiments included in the one-day special. It could be something you already have. It could be a picture. It could be a date. When I say a date, like a reference date. So what about commemorating a special event? So it could be an anniversary, it could be a birthday, it could be whatever you want it to be. We've also included in the one-day special some beautiful flowers. Now these are your blossom flowers. I'll get into that in one moment, but everything is designed to work together. You've got, now that's a different sentiment what you have, but you've got your flowers, you've got your sentiments, you've obviously got the foundation, which is your slider die. I love this. Look at this. This is using the flowers, just the smaller flowers on there, creating a wonderful little, they could be cherry blossoms, could be whatever you like. Sorry. So having a look here, we've got, now I'm going to go through, you're getting your flowers. Blossom flowers, brand new, never seen these before, makes 11 flowers in one pass because it's John next door. He's giving you the reference points. You're getting the corresponding die as well, so you're able to layer that over perfectly cut out. I think we will be playing around with those a little bit later this hour. You're obviously getting your slider die set, and it is a die set. If I just hold this up and show you what you're getting here. So to look at it on the board, you are getting a lot for your money in the sense that what this does is it creates your slider die. That's the innovation, taking all the time, the effort, the measurements out of things and giving you a precise cut every time. It scores, it cuts. And then you've got your apertures in there, your hexagon apertures, your two circles, and we saw John using this again as another reference point to make sure that you line up your apertures perfectly. So that's just for the slider die. And as we continue on, you're also getting your sentiments in the mix as well. Really nice sentiments that just add a further dynamic to any card. So today's your birthday, a day just for you. Enjoy every minute, whatever you do. Love you today. Oh, what was that one? I love you today. We'll go down and have a look. So love you more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. I love that. Or could you imagine giving this to someone, wishing a very special person a very special birthday? Today is your birthday, a day just for you. Enjoy every minute, whatever you do. I love this top one. Loved you then, love you still, always have, and always will. Very nice. Ah, do you know what? I'll share with you a little story, but I had a moment with Hayley. She's coming up. Yeah, I was saying that, and we made eye contact across the studio, and I felt it, Hayley. There was something there. Okay, so look, this is our one-day special coming through. I'm just going to show you a few more inspirations as we go on, and then we will continue down the counter. But look, you don't need to make the slider card if you don't want to. It just shows the versatility of this set. Beautiful, beautiful flowers in the mix. I'm just going to show you. I want to pick this one up as well. So if you obviously use the flowers in conjunction with the slider card, and that, such a beautiful dynamic there. Or how about, haven't shown this one this hour. This is one of my favourites. You really get a sense of how smooth that movement is, that kinetic movement, using the flowers on top. Speaking of the flowers, these are absolute show-stoppers. With the crystal, the flower paper, I should say, the gold flower paper, which is busy at the moment. One last one, and then we've got to move on. But isn't that fantastic? Okay, that's a one-day special. Now look, you're saving £8 if you do go for the one-day special. Not only that, you've got access to 2 flexi payments, $22.98 today. Everything gets sent out to you. Your item number is 083764, but obviously because there is your flexi payment, then in 4 weeks' time you pay your remaining flexi payment there. As we continue on, John has worked so hard. Everything on the counter designed to work together. So we've got some more dies for you. I'm going to move this over. These are your ferns and your leafy flourish. Just showing this. So $16.98, but look what happens if you're a Freedom member. The price does come down to $15.28. You're getting your ferns, and you're also getting those leafy flourishes in the mix. And this is what they look like in an actual inspiration. I mean, they are beautiful. They add just that further layer of detail. Wonderful little flowing flourish into the mix. And Mrs. Duck, we've got to have a look at Mrs. Duck's inspiration at the front down here. I can pick it up. There we go. Sorry, that was me. Isn't that nice? See, this is using the flower from the one-day special and then adding all... I mean, that is a special, special card. All right, I'll pop that down. $15.28 is your price. 368165 your item number. We're going to move on to our Eyes Inks. Now, with the Eyes Inks, been really, really busy here. A third of the... We've got 2 different options, but can I just say, for $9.99 each, if you did go for both options, you would have half the collection of Eyes Inks. There are only 20 colours in the Eyes Ink range, and there will only ever be 20 colours in the Eyes Ink range. $9.99 your price. That's for this option here, so just showing you what you are getting. That beautiful Dawn, honey, tea, walnut, and your licorice. $9.99 is your price. 931464 your item number. Really nice way to get a lovely colour palette, because you're getting 5 beautiful colours in the mix. Now, half the stock, 50% of the stock has gone here. Our beautiful wax, rose, overseas, mint, and your verbena. I know John wanted to bring both these collections actually for a reason, because they work so well with the one-day special. If you were to go for both sets, you would have half the collection of Eyes Inks. There for you. Really nice size. They're super juicy. They last. 216656 your item number. Right, we're going to move on to some very special paper. Now, this is your flower making paper. It's designed for you to get the most out of the flowers that you make. So, holding it here, in the studio I can see this, but it's hard to see the sort of gold tones. It's like a golden hue underneath. But what I've done very, very, very crudely is just put some Eyes Inks. I've just swiped them down. I know it looks crude, but what I wanted to show, do you see how the gold suddenly comes to light? So there you get an appreciation of that gold coming through. Now you imagine making, you could do some, John calls it ugly paper, and then cut out, let me just give you that tilt. There you go, all that gold mica. And that's what makes this. That's a great shot, Jimmy. Jimmy, I've got to give a shout out to the team. Jimmy, our director, Ross, our producer, and Matt Flooring. You're all stars. But what I want to show here is a really good shot, Jimmy, because that shows that mica coming through. And that's what makes this paper so special. Look, here's the thing. Over 40% of the stock's gone. This will sell out before the end of the one-day special. So I can't tell you when it's going to sell out, but it's not going to last until final call tomorrow, I believe, anyway. I could be wrong. Once it is gone, that's it. It's gone. You're getting 40 sheets of very, very special paper. £9.99 your price, 120439 your item number. Speaking of special, now we didn't get a chance to have a proper look at this, but a quarter of the stock's already gone. Bringing up the details for your crafts too. This is the linen card pack. Now, what did we notice? What did John say about linen? He uses the linen card because it's got that durability, because it's not highly polished, it won't crack, so it's perfect for the one-day special. And you've got such beautiful colours in here. You've got your white, your pink, your lilac and your violet. 40 sheets in total for £10.99. So 10 of each. Really, really good cardstock here. Now you've got to think, effectively, that's 40 cards that you could be making. 40 card blanks. £10.99 your price, 775 168 your item number. A quarter of the stock's gone. And just to give you an idea of other ways to use it, so it doesn't have to be your card blank, because you can make flowers with the linen paper as well and do so much more. I'll just show you this and then we've got to get to John and continue our demonstration. But isn't it beautiful seeing it cut down? Okay, so that's everything on offer. If you do have any questions, get in touch. Let's jump onto the website as we head back to John. What are you going to be popping into your basket? Now, a lot of other options that have been busy. The toolkit. Now, this is fantastic. John was actually showcasing this in the previous hour. And what it allows you to do is reference. You know, when you're stamping, especially sentiments, do your sentiments ever go on the wonk? We've all been there. Well, what this allows you to do is keep everything straight there. £9.99 your price. I know John used it a lot. A third of the stock's gone. Look, what you're getting here is a tool kit, because you're getting your paper, you're getting your acetate templates, and you're also getting the glue eraser. And that's one thing I've noticed. John every time he's working on the card, he's using that constantly to keep it clean and pristine. You're getting 10 of the acetate, and you're also getting 50 of the paper. Right, John.
Right, well, I thought we should do some ugly paper, because you keep, I know you like that one. So what we've got is, this is the flower making paper, and to make it easier and speedier, I've cut it down to an A5, roughly A5 piece, just using a pair of scissors, to be honest. And all I'm going to do, this to me makes the most realistic looking foliage you can do. But I thought we'll have a go with the flowers as well. Perfect. So I'm going to go on with the verbena, and all I'm doing is, you've got to think, ugly paper. The uglier your paper is, the better your foliage will look. If you think about leaves and things, we're always doing them. I'm terrible for cutting them just in plain coloured card all the time. But they have lots and lots of different colours in them. So they all have lots of different greens and browns and things like that in. So what I'm doing is putting down now the verbena, which is the yellowy green. Nice. Yeah. So nice and ugly. You wouldn't use that as a background.
And the more erratic, the better for this technique.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now I've got a feeling I've brought my mint, so I'm just going to wander off this way while Yanis talks and steal one from the set, but I'm sure...
That's okay. So look, with the eyes inks, and they are proving very, very popular, so with your eyes inks you're getting two different collections. We've got one as your main details, one at the bottom of your screen. If you were to get both, that's half the collection of eyes inks, because what I do like as a company, Eyes Ink have said they give you 20 colours, that's it, they're never going to add any more.
Nope. Not to the dye inks again, not to the pigments. They do literally 20. That's what they do. When I actually asked Fred, or Frederic, as it would be in French, about more colours.
Does he look like, now I imagine him to look like Fred from First Dates.
No, he really doesn't. He is, we were talking, we had a meeting earlier with our stamp suppliers. They were saying, oh, and she was actually saying, Lisa, I'm looking forward to seeing Fred again in Frankfurt, because with the big paper show at Frankfurt, we all go to the end of this month. And Sam was in the meeting, I was explaining, I said, yeah, well, the first time I met Fred, he was wearing a white shirt tucked into jeans with a belt and a cravat. And I said, and a British person would have looked absolutely stupid in it. And he looked like he walked off a catwalk in Paris.
See, the French very fashionable.
They just seem to manage things. But I said to him, I said, what about new colours? And he looked at me like I was an idiot. And I said, you know, new colours, new things. He went, there are no more new colours. And he thought I was asking him when they were going to invent new colours. And I said, no, like different. He went, 20's enough. You can make every colour from that.
See, that's nice.
He didn't see the point. He felt it was a rip-off.
I like that.
To do that. So I'm just adding a little bit more verbena on.
Do you know, going back now, you're quite a fashionable guy. Can I just ask you a quick opinion, and then we've got a question?
You can.
So today, and it's very fitting actually, we're talking about France. Katie, our producer, she came in wearing a beret.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, now
she's got the hair and the face for a beret, definitely.
Look, it was a bold look. Some people mocked, but I thought she carried it off. And the thing with fashion, there's no right or wrong.
There is no right and wrong, and I think people should wear what they like, to be honest. You go in my wardrobe, you'll find 90% of it is blue and striped.
Well, okay.
And striped. That's what I like, that's what I wear, that's what I suit.
All right, so if John says it's okay, Katie, you're fine.
I think she's got the hair and the face to carry a beret off, definitely.
Now, we have got a question in. It's from Belinda. She's saying, can I make a larger card than A6 with the slider die?
What I will be doing I'll do it at 9 o'clock show.
Okay.
I'll be showing you how we scale it up to make it like this or bigger.
All right.
But the mechanism obviously is only that size.
Yeah.
So you can't get it bigger than that size, than sort of A6 finished.
Right.
Because obviously you can't get it, you could put two together.
Yeah.
So you could extend it across.
Yeah.
But you could make it up a little bit bigger.
So if you mat and layer it onto something bigger as well?
The finished piece itself, the finished card, is 4 inches deep by 5 3/4 long. So you're talking effectively almost A6.
Okay.
Just slightly smaller. Actually, it is A6 virtually.
Perfectly.
But it's the biggest card you could get. After that, I'd have to go to 2 pieces of metal and the die would suddenly be £45.
Fair enough. I know you have worked very hard to keep the cost down.
So you can see here we've got really ugly paper.
Okay, I can't deny that is ugly paper.
And what I do is, I'm just going to take some of the verbena on one of the large daubers.
Now, we have got an option with this, the daubers, so we've got the large daubers and the, oh yeah, that just blends it all.
And all I'm doing is just blending it across. Really useful. I love the large ones I end up using
that
quite
suddenly
a lot.
looks like a camouflage print.
Yeah. But again, you wouldn't, I call it ugly paper because you would not use that for the back of a card. You wouldn't stamp on that happy birthday and off we go. No. But if you can see how it's picked up the gold.
Yeah.
That is all of the gold. If we go forward, you can actually see, there you go, how all the gold comes. Now that's
all
the paper.
All that mica coming through.
It's in the same size.
It's double sided, so it's exactly the same both sides.
But when the ink comes in, it brings it forward.
Yeah.
Now that is ugly, but what we're going to do, we're going to cut that with our foliage. Okay, so I'm going to pop it down, grab my foliage dies. But it seems that you would think, don't try and go for any particular place.
Right.
Yeah? And this is where, and I've got to admit, I actually have 2 sets of the ferns.
Really?
Because they're small and I like to cut a lot of foliage, so I have got 2. I bought myself an extra set of those. Crofts 2 think I'm mad because obviously I get my sample die through.
Yeah.
And then I do an order, and half the time, even if I'm not workshopping it, I'm actually ordering a second one of some of them.
Like a true crafter?
Well, no, because I wouldn't encourage anyone else to do it, but I do it. It's what I do. It's don't do as I do as I say sort of thing. But I do like to do that. Nice. But don't put it in any particular place. What you want is you want the randomness. So when we actually pull these out, hopefully, it's always worked before, but this is probably the occasion it won't. When I take these out, I'll do the swirls first.
Yeah.
So again, it's not the most attractive paper, but then when this comes out, can you see then?
Oh, that looks lovely.
How much like real foliage
that actually put it on here?
Yeah, because that's where we're going to use it.
So now, come on. You've suddenly, and do you see the gold? This paper is incredible.
The paper's magic. It really,
looks like
really
you've got a golden
is.
emboss on there. But look at all the colours coming through as well. Oh, John.
Nice. And of course, your next one.
And anyone can do
is
this.
Tonally, but not the same. If you can see there.
Got to give that a go.
Tonally right.
This is
but not
why
the
the
same.
flower paper always, especially the gold. Now, the first time John brought you this, it sold out in a flash, and actually we brought it back and brought it back. But one thing we can tell you categorically, we know this for a fact, once all the stock of the flower paper is gone, that is it. We cannot bring back any more. $9.99 your price, you're getting 40 sheets. It really is special stuff.
It is.
You have to add some colour, though.
It's a magic thing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in white.
Yeah.
There's a card version of it, which is, I use a lot of 300 GSM card version, which makes the most beautiful, expensive looking cards just in white, because you have that sort of gold finish when you catch the light right. But yeah, for making your flowers, adding ink to it is just amazing.
And spritz it as well. If you've got any spritzers at home, and this is something I've done with you, John, and when you spritz it, it
When
really
you
does.
spritz it, it is stunning. Every time I struggle. You can tell. You know when a dye's hard to come out?
Yeah.
It's usually because we've used them far, far too much. I've used this so much, these ferns. There we go. So,
Lovely.
we'll pop those away there. So I've got some ferns now, and again, I've got a real mix of it looking like natural pieces.
Lovely.
So I've really got that look.
And that is such a simple technique. If I show you
Brilliantly
this
easy.
again, look, where we started, and I know what you're all thinking, when John was just doing this as a demo, if you were just channel hopping or tuning in, it does look like, best description, John's termed it ugly paper, but when you die cut it, and especially that gold hue is all down to the mica that's sort of encapsulated within the flower paper. And I'm right in saying it's mica, right?
It is, yeah. It's mica that comes to the surface.
Yeah.
This time, for the flowers, all I'm doing is wiping my ink pad over. So I'm wiping over the rose, roughly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this set, the rose set, very, very popular. It's actually, I think, last time we gave an update, it was over a third of the stock had gone there.
So I'm just going a little bit of yellow. Yeah, and a little bit of the wax. Whoops. Well done, John.
Okay, it shows how juicy it is. Lovely.
So let's go for a little bit more of the rose. And actually, what I'm going to do, because I've gone very heavy on that brown, I'm going to add a little bit of brown. So I get really nice. Oh, there you go. So I've got quite a lot of tones in there. So what I can then do, I can take this and I can stamp my flowers onto it.
Okay.
So I don't have to have the coloured paper to start with.
Nice.
So I'm going to go with the blossom stamp.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do...
So this is included in the one-day special. You're getting your blossom stamp, you're also getting your blossom die, coordinating, and you're getting your sentiment. So everything that we're seeing right here, you get. That's a still, isn't it? There we
No.
go.
What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to stamp this twice.
Yeah.
Were you putting your hand in there? You were.
I know, I was wafting my hand, thinking, why isn't my hand in shot?
And yet, I'm sure you were here when they took that still, when they got that capture.
I was hiding behind you.
Yes. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stamp this first of all in black, using Onyx Black, my Versafine, my standard stamping ink. And I want to show you how it's almost, it's intense. And if you like that...
Oh, that's nice. That's
but
lovely.
It's very dark.
It's got a bit of the Monet about it, though.
Do you know what? It's a beautiful background
Yeah.
on its own, I think. It looks almost alien. It's a weird shape. I'm just now going to clean my stamp, which is very rare for me.
Okay.
So just taking off that black. Because
Now, we
what I'm
had
going
these the
to
other
do...
week. I know they were very, very busy.
Yeah, they're just so
Sold out, did they
useful.
sell out?
I don't know, to be honest. I know we brought some back on extended, so I don't know,
Okay, we'll
to be
see if
honest.
they're on our website. But, yeah.
But what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to stamp it in the licorice, which is the black in the
that's
icing.
okay.
Now this is, they call it, it's réglisse, which presumably is licorice in French.
In French, yeah.
My French is not very good.
He's better than mine.
But what you find is, because this is a dye-based ink, not an oil-based stamping ink, or quick drying like the Versafine, although it's black, this will be a lot softer and subtler.
Okay.
So can you see
Oh, you can see the difference.
a difference? So for flowers, I actually prefer using, there you go, can you see? So that one there
The gold from the paper is ridiculous.
That's virtually vanishing is the licorice. So that is your versified.
Okay.
So I'm going to cut that one because it allows more of the colour to show through. So licorice is a colour I've not really concentrated on before, but I found with this it works so well.
We've had a massive surge for the flower paper. Just to reiterate, and I'm only saying this because it is important, I don't want you to miss out. Once it has gone, that is it. So this is one occasion. All the time, whenever we find something's popular, we always try and secure more stock, but we know we asked the question before the start of the one-day special launch, and over half the stock of the flower paper's gone. So potentially it could sell out today. So remember, we've got 1 more hour with John from 9 till 10, or you could be tuning in for the first hour tomorrow at 9 a.m. and find that it has gone. So I'm just giving you that warning. I don't see it lasting beyond 9 o'clock tomorrow, though.
No, I hope so, because I like using it. I'll still use it anyway, you know me.
Still use it, but I don't think it will.
Carry on. But it just gives me so much more scope. So here we go. Okay. So I'll take these out, but then I've got, of course,
look at that.
very quickly, the time was spent colouring the paper.
Oh, the design team have used this for backgrounds as well, and they've paper pieced.
The paper piece, it makes quite a nice stencil. I think I've got a sample somewhere I did with those stencils through it.
Okay.
Knowing me, it's probably in that pile of demos that I left at home, because I leave something at home every time.
Have to.
Every show. No matter how careful I am. But we can see we've got all 11. And what I like about this is a lot of people have said to me, I mean, I have got coming up, but way in the future, because I draw quite a lot ahead. I have got coming up a plate, hopefully, of small, tiny flowers, lots of different ones, because I think we like small flowers. But on this, you are getting a good 5 little flowers as well as the big ones.
Spray of flowers coming through. So if you want to create your own summer meadow,
so you can really. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to take the large. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. I'm just going to turn them over, and I'm going to change the tool size. This is why I love these. I'm actually going to go into the largest, which is the size 6.
That's a big boy. Any nose rubbing?
So, down your nose or in your hair, a little bit of grease on. Okay. And I'm just going to literally scribble on the back. This actually polishes up. When you do this, you can see the mica start to shine because it actually polishes it up. Turn it over and scribble in the middle. Okay. You can see there the shine from the flower. So the same again.
Nice.
So down there, okay. Turn it over, scribble in the middle. I'm going to do the 3rd and the 4th. But I like to show, you know, how quickly we can do it, that it's not, you know, all this, I've done this before, you know, and then here's one I made earlier and emptying a bag of bits. You know, we can do these. It's better to show that we can do them quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my glue glaze again for speed and because it grabs so quickly. And I think this is available on the end of call thing, as you call it.
Oh, okay, yeah, Perfect Partners.
That's it. Is it called Why Not or something suddenly?
The name changes.
It changes constantly, doesn't it?
Keep us on our toes. But showing you how well it layers up, the flowers layer up.
But what you'll notice is, because they're not drawn by computer, I do them on computer. Yeah. You can see they don't all offset exactly perfectly as they wouldn't in nature.
That's important.
They've not been spaced around. I've not taken a drawing and gone, oh, the angle's right. I've drawn it how I've drawn it, if that makes sense. So it allows me to get quite a nice sort of blossom, which is why I called it blossom, blossomy flower. Almost sort of blousy.
A blousy blossom.
But then we get, really simply, but it works so well then when we bring in. So we'll bring in our card. Oh, I better do Stamp the Sentiments, hadn't I?
Okay, yeah.
So again, very quickly.
I hope you're enjoying our one-day special. So we had a double-hour launch, and then we will be back with John from 9 till 10. With each of these hours, what John wants to do, it's kind of like a masterclass with John. He's going to be teaching techniques. Obviously, we're going to centre around our one-day special, the true innovation that is the slider die. So what John's done, and he's been really open and said, look, the actual concept, he has not reinvented the wheel. The concept's been out there. He's actually sent a card by, you're going to have to remind me, John, who sent you the card?
I think it was Jane that sent it me. Jane Smith sent it me last Christmas. Not this year, well, obviously not this year, because I can't turn a die around that quickly.
But it's stuck in your head. and you were like, well, I would love an easy way to make this card.
Yeah.
And so that's
And,
where
and I
the
steal a
one-day
lot
special
of my ideas that way. I've got another one coming out, actually 2 coming out later in the year, which was sent to me as home moving cards from a brilliant friend of mine, really good friend of ours, Barbara Deere.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it, so I've turned that into 2 dies,
Brilliant.
and that'll be out later in the year.
Great.
And again, what I've made sure I did do was on the packaging, it actually says on it, from an original idea by Barbara Deere, because I think you should give thanks where it's due.
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't find out who originally did this one. If I could, I would have sort of done it. So what I've got to do is, this time, just choose a sentiment. Because I used the smaller of the circles, you'll see that actually some of the other sentiments will fit in.
That's a good size.
So they will fit in exactly. So to get it in the right place, I'm going to do exactly what I did before.
Now you have to watch this because we have got a tool kit, so a paper tool kit that includes the acetate paper. You're getting acetate, you're getting paper, and you're also getting in the mix the eraser as well for $9.99. But I mean, look, the acetate and the papers you use time and time again.
Oh, constantly. The reason you get 50 papers and 10 acetates is you can wash the acetates and wipe them down.
Yeah.
The paper you'll go through more of. I'm now on to my second pack, and my first sample pack was, I probably had about a year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have to be testing things a lot longer. But what it does is it matches the measurements on the side, but it gives me a straight line so I can finally go. If I want to be really funny, I can go, look, okay, the space in that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5.5 centimetres, that aperture,
Okay.
So I can go in the middle and put it in there. But what I can do is just make sure that I get that first line on a straight line, which means that when I close the lid and pick it up, I will finally have a sentiment that's not wonky.
Hey.
Because I'm terrible for doing it.
And I remember when you first brought it, we actually had it in development and you were using it and we teased everyone, then you brought it and it actually sold out. It's very popular.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, we are very low on them as well again. So then I've got my sentiment there. I'm just going to flick it open. Move it round, obviously, because it won't fit in that way. I'm going to go with love as the sort of message inside.
So our secret message.
So again, place that in. Doesn't matter which way round I've got these, I'll get the same thing in. So with love, nice and in the centre, pick it up, out, ink. And again, I'm inking with the Rigless, with the Ising dye, with the licorice, because it's just that little bit softer than black.
Yeah.
So that's my stamping done, my sentiment finished. We've got our slide card. Yep. And then I can simply decorate. So what I'm going to do is take, there we are, my bits. So this is the swirl flourish, again done with the
ugly paper
ugly
and
paper.
The flower paper. So the Isings and the flower paper.
So I'm just going to use my glue glaze. This is so useful for these sort of really fine die cuts. But what I can actually do is,
Oh, that's nice.
I can actually go around.
I tell you, I'm so impressed with the flower paper and the Isings. You put those together and that mica coming through. That flourish looks phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
The flourish gives you, if you're not sure about where to put your flowers, the flourish is designed
Very
to
forgiving.
give you that idea of where to put them. Because now what I've got is a little flourish, so I can go, well, I can put there'd be a flower there and there'd be a flower there, and then there'd probably be one there. And then I can take some of the smaller ones, and it just makes sense of it.
Okay. That's a great description.
Sometimes we really struggle at where am I going to put flowers. Well, this actually just makes sense. This looks sometimes too random when they're in the wrong places. But look, there's a little bit of stem showing. Well, I reckon there'd be a flower on that bit of stem there.
Okay.
So let's just pop that one in. Let's move him in. There we go.
Nice.
So then you've got a really nice selection. But you see, I'm missing a centre for that flower.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to turn it over the other way. I'm going to take my glue glaze and I'm going to put a little bit on the back of each petal. which then allows me to screw that up that way.
Ah, so you create a bud, or
to
use
make
like the
the
stamen,
bud.
yeah.
For the centre, and then we can pop that one in.
Clever.
So you'd spend a little bit more time on it at
Yeah.
home.
Do you mind if I
then.
show everyone?
There we go.
Have a look at that. But you see how beautiful that is? But obviously it has its hidden secret in there as well. So you've got your sentiments coming through, which we'll just open up. There it is, with love coming through. I think that's fantastic, John. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to show you some more examples and directions where you can take our fantastic one-day special. I really hope you're enjoying this hour. Remember, if you do have any questions, John would love to hear from you, and so would I. studio@hochanda.com. Enjoy this. Oh, there we go. So we've got, just showing you a few of the directions here you can take with our fantastic one-day special. What we're going to do, because we are running out of time, John will be back at 9, from 9 till 10. John, anyone who's just tuned in, one-day special, what did you want to achieve with this one-day special?
I wanted to make it easier to start with. I wanted to make... Kinetic cards have always fascinated me.
Yeah.
The idea of cards that have movement, that do something, have always genuinely fascinated me. And the idea of that little hidden message, we've got that bee over the flowers, and then you open it and there's your message in. I love that, but they're difficult, they're time consuming, and you've got to be good at maths, and I'm a crafter. I'm not a mathematician. Yeah, I can sit and look at it and work it out on a computer and things, but when it comes to give me a piece of paper, I mean, without being funny, I'll take a piece. You know, give me that and a pair of scissors and tell me to make that, and I am lost.
Yeah, it's scoring it, it's cutting it, it's measuring it.
But give me a die and I can do it. And what I wanted to do when I put the bundle together was I thought, let's have the card, but let's give everybody what they need. First of all the sentiments that they need.
Yeah.
So that you've got sentiments that give you the insert if you want to use your inserts. It gives you the best wishes, a happy birthday, everything you'd need. You've got the flower die.
Yeah.
You've got the flower stamp. So effectively in the bundle, as long as you've got a die cutting machine and a little bit of ink, you can make that if you've never crafted or paper crafted before.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we do need a die machine and probably some stamping blocks and things, but with basic equipment, that's everything you need to make a lot of different cards. The same style, but different ways and decorated. So I like the out-of-the-box crafting.
Yeah.
I like to open a box at home and have everything in there I need.
And when you think about, look, this is the thing, because you put it all together, the flowers, the sentiments, and of course that slider aspect too. Now, we had a question earlier on, and forgive me, I've just forgotten the name, but someone was asking about, can we make the cards bigger? So John will be explaining, that was from Belinda. John will be having a look at the 9 o'clock hour on how you can. So this is a prime example of, obviously the mechanism's the same, but we can make it busy. We can make it bigger. But think about your papers in there as well. So do you have any gorgeous papers that you want to work with in a different direction.
No, we're all crafters. We have some gorgeous papers that we don't want to cut or touch. We want to stroke them and sniff them and then put them away. But
been there, done
I'm
that.
forcing myself to use my papers now.
And
But
look at these flowers coming
and
through.
Mrs. Stuck's done an amazing job with those. She really has.
Stunning. Unfortunately, time has beaten us.
Really?
This is the one-day special, and we are busy for our one-day special. You're saving £8. You've got 2 flexi payments of £22.98, so £22.98 today, and then obviously in 4 weeks' time, £22.98. I want to say a huge thank you to John. What a fantastic 2
Thank you.
hours. John, what are we going to be doing at 9 then?
So we're going to be making a slightly bigger one, and we'll go through a few more different techniques and tips.
Okay. I really hope you can join us there. Thank you so much for your company. Hayley has a fantastic hour just around the corner. So Hayley's going to be here with her Clover Essentials. She's by herself, so I do hope you're going to keep her company. Then John and myself will be back at 9 for John Next Door, our one-day special. After that, we've got All and Create.
Hi, I'm Gina Barrett from Gina B Silkworks. We're a family company specializing in traditional crafts for the modern maker. Most of our products involve textiles and age-old techniques, from button making, lace making, weaving, and other forms of passementerie. I hope you'll be able to tune in to the Gina B Silkworks shows here on Hochanda.
Hi, I'm Lucy from Sweet Poppy Stencils, the Craft Station Limited. We're a craft retailer and we specialise in stainless steel stencils. Our stencils are manufactured in metal. This allows us to have designs that are intricate. We also have new products coming on board, our craft bonds, our pole drops, and our acrylic paints are joining us. We've recently joined Hochanda and we're really excited. This allows us to demonstrate and show our products. We know customers like seeing the demonstrations, so make sure you tune in and don't miss the Sweet Poppy shows on Hochanda.
Welcome to Club G45 from Graphic 45, the monthly tutorial kit that allows you to create some of the most beautiful projects by accessing a step-by-step video viewable online. This month's tutorial is the Club G45 Life's a Journey Wrap Folio and Tag Trio kit, containing the Life's a Journey Wrap Folio and the Life's a Journey Tag Trio kit projects. You'll get almost everything you need to create these projects from scratch, including access to this month's step-by-step video tutorial and accompanying project sheet. Simply order yours by purchasing item number 176628 for £42.99, plus your postage from hochanda.com. Or give us a call on 01733 60 2000 for instant access to this month's Club G45 from Graphic 45.
Hello there, good evening and welcome back, because this is an hour I'm going to be sharing some of the Clover essentials with you, things that I think are incredibly useful for you to have in your sewing room. So I hope I have your company for the next hour, and of course if you do want to get in touch, then by all means please do so. You can email studio@hochanda.com if you've got any questions to ask about any of the products, and I'll be throwing in a few little demos along the way as well. So kick back, relax, and let's have a little bit of fun for the next hour, and kicking things off with a fabulous cutting mat. And this is brilliant. This is not dissimilar to the one that I use at home. It's a large cutting mat, gives you plenty of area to work with, and you can see there you've got all your markings that you would hope to see, inches, half inches with these, you've got eighths of inches in there as well, but you've also got your angles. Angles are always important because your 45 degree there is perfect for your bias, and then you've got your 60 degree and your 30 degree, so if you are wanting to do any quilting and cutting your own triangles, you will definitely need those shapes in there. The thing that I love about it is it's nice open area, area. So we'll be doing a demonstration a little bit later on, but I can sit at my kitchen table, and I do, and I'm often cutting my fabrics or laying out ideas or getting different bits and pieces. And then it might suddenly come round to dinner time and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I've got to pack everything away. All you need to do is literally pick up the mat and I can take it off to another area and then bring it back in when I need to. That's the thing that I like about this. And of course it does work alongside the smaller one, which we'll be telling you about in a few moments. Really sturdy base to work with, and it's brilliant because it's one of those self-healing ones, and it is designed to be used alongside the Clover rotary cutters, which we have got on the show as well. But Freedom members, you've got a fabulous price there, just £17.99. Brilliant value for money, because that is the price delivered to your door. You can see you've got quarter markings as well, so if you are wanting to square anything up and make sure that you found the centre point, then you can do it quite easily. And of course you've got that very useful hook there, so you can hook it up even if it's on the back of the door. Nice and easy to work with, like this one, like it a lot. For £17.99, brilliant value for money, because that price on your screen is the sort of price that you'd be paying potentially for something a lot smaller than this one, so definitely worth thinking about. 281918 if you're wanting to get hold of that one. Do pop it into your basket. Lots of other goodies, by the way. Jump ahead on the website and have a little look if you wanted to. Some of them might be things you've not come across, so hopefully I'll be able to kind of explain how you use them and how they can make life so much easier when you're sewing. Smaller cutting mat for you on this occasion. Exactly the same with regards to your inches, your half inches, your eighth of an inch in there as well. And of course you've got all those diagonals again, which are so useful when you're doing your quilting. You can see that you've got your centre point there, so again you've got your different segments there. It's just a really nice size. Getting the hooks there, so if you do want to hook it even onto the back of the door, you can do, or take it with you in your crafting bag, perhaps if you're going off to your classes and workshops. But a really nice mat and a really good size at 12 inches by 18 inches. If you fancy this one, then it's just £11.99, 106911. Now, we've got lots to share with you during this hour. I'm just going to jump and grab hold of something as we're talking about the next product, because in my previous hour when I was working with you at 4 o'clock this afternoon, I got to work with this rotary cutter, and it's called the Slash Cutter. Reason being is it's designed to actually cut lines within your fabrics and then kind of expose the underlying layers. So can I bring this in and show you? Because what I did was I took, you can see roughly a square shape of the dark fabric there, and what I did is I layered up a variety of kind of quilt weight fabrics. Now, it does suggest you use fabrics that got more of a spring to them, but I'm kind of pleased with the results. So I got there, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 layers there, and then what you do is you stitch diagonal lines, which I'll show you in a few moments. Use the slash cutter to cut between those lines, and then what you do is basically just give it a good old ruffle, rough it up, and you will see that you get that fabulous kind of lift there. You can also do it with the waves. I've not actually lifted that out to its entirety because I want to show you that at the demo area, but you can see the kind of result that you can get from just layering up your fabrics is brilliant. Now, you've got 2 different guides within this one. You'll notice one's much longer than the other. One is for your straight lines, so that's the top one, so it's going to go along those nice and easily. But of course, when you're bending and twisting, you don't want that long arm, so you've got a shorter arm there for you. Clever device within this as well, which means you can notch and count up how many times you're using that kind of blade. So you will find that you will have areas that do become dull because the rotary blade isn't actually rotating when it's cutting. I'll explain more when we get to demo. Comes with full instructions, so you don't have to worry, and they're really easy for you to actually follow those. So £11.99, very affordable, and a really nice style of sewing which you might not have considered before. 182258. Of course, your standard rotary cutter is a must-have if you are looking at quilting, and this is a really nice one. Clover, again, quality for all the items that we're chatting about. Impeccable. With this one, you can see here you've got a wonderful, I love the colour of this to start with, wonderful kind of soft cushion handle with this one. So if you are used to rotary cutting and finding that you get a lot of tension in your hands sometimes when you're standing up in your rotary cutting, having a nice comfortable handle is key. Of course, you can see your locking switch there as well, so for security you can pop that blade out of the way. But it's a 45mm blade, which is a really nice kind of middle of the road size. It tends to go up to 60mm if you're looking at a larger wheel, and it can go down down a little bit to, I think it's usually around 30, something like that for the smaller size one. But this is a nice one to get started with, a really nice comfortable one. And we've also got the ability for you to get some additional blades, which I'll tell you about now. 256216 will get you rotary cutter, obviously with a blade in there, but let me help you get some additional ones, because we've got a lovely set of 5. Now 45mm is a standard size with regards to rotary blades, so it might be that you have another brand with this same size blade, then definitely consider going for these. They come in a fabulous little plastic case, which I think is so clever because it protects those blades. The last thing that you want is a rotary blade just knocking around in your crafting drawer and you put your hand in there looking for something else and finding you get that caught on your fingers. Good idea, if you can manage to go for a couple of sets of these, you could put all of your brand new rotary blades in one of those little pouches and then put your used ones in a second one, because you can always use your second ones or your used ones, which aren't good for your fabric, to actually use for your wadding and your batting. So never throw them away, always useful to keep those. But there you go, $19.99 will get you 5 of those, 805490. Now we've got a lovely pair of patchwork scissors here with a serrated edge. This is really clever if you are looking at cutting fabrics and you've ever struggled in the past. These little serrations that you can see on the little diagram here, it shows you've almost got little tiny teeth in there that are going to grip onto your fabric when you put it through those blades. So it could be that you've been cutting regular cotton fabrics, it might be that you've been going with organza or anything that's slippy sliding, and finding that when it actually goes through those blades it's moving. This is going to kind of grab onto it and not let it go anywhere. Good size blades with these as well, 9.5 inches, so if you fancy getting hold of these, what a brilliant price, and the ability to spread the cost is even better. So £49.99 or 2 flexi buy payments, as you can see there, £25 each. Nice set of scissors there. It's always good to invest in a good set of scissors. Pair of scissors I bought when I was probably about 18 years old. I had probably 20 years worth of work, those brilliant scissors. I like them. But there you go. Now we've got a nice little mix of products with here. So first one is we've got a little pairing, and what you've got along here, alongside your seams right, you've also got your Chaco liner. Now let's start off with the seams right, because within the seams right you've got this little card, and I'm going to pop it out of the packages just so you can see it a little clearer. You do get kind of an explanation with this one, but you can go online and check it out as well. But be careful, it's going to be very glary on your screen, so I apologise in advance. Gives you the ability for you to measure your seam allowance, just to make sure that you've got it spot on and correct. So for instance, if you're working on some quilts like so and you don't have a 1/4 inch foot or a guide, then all you need to do is find the 1/4 inch that you've got on here, which is at the top there, you see there, and I can actually take that and place it like so and measure the exact 1/4 inch to make sure that I'm kind of stitching at the right position. You've also got the ability to do other seams, so whether you are into your dressmaking, whether you're into your home decor, you can see you've got lots of other dimensions, and you've also got your buttonhole marking for marker there, so if you are doing your buttonholes as well, that's going to help you like that. It's a nice way of measuring your buttons as well, so if you have got a button and you're not too sure what size of a buttonhole to put in there, you can kind of slide your button through there and make sure you've got it to the right size. So that is teamed up with the Chaco liner, and this is a really clever idea. The Chaco liner is actually filled with kind of like tailor's chalk, which you might well have come across previously. It's a really clever dispensing element with this. So the pen there, on this occasion you can see it's white. I have got a version of it which is pink, which I will show you in action in a few moments. But the idea is you've got a little tiny, it's almost like a little wheel. Now you'll see there's a lighter, it's almost like where the metal is just popping out the end there, little tiny teeth appearing, as I'm sure you'll be able to see when the light catches them. And what that does is it dispenses the chalk. So if I can show you that, I'm just going to move these just out of the way, make an impromptu little demo area. Let's just slide those out to the side. We'll come to those bits in a few moments. Just dismantling the set as I usually do. And we've got a little bit of fabric here. Now what will happen is the chalk that you've got within that barrel will get picked up by that little wheel that's sitting in the bottom. So you can use that to actually trace out your design. So can you see there? You've got that chalk line. So that means that if you wanted to I don't know, maybe do it like where your stitch line is going to be, or follow the line of a pattern, you can do that quite easy. And it is refillable, but obviously the one that we're looking at in that duo set with the seams right is your white version. So if you were wanting this, then you can get hold of obviously your Chaco pen, and you've got your seams right. Incidentally, the seams right is available by itself. If you want, oh, is it gone by itself? All right. Oh, I shall be quiet then, because you can't get hold of it. But it is a good little bundle to go for. The other bundle that we've got for you, again with that Chaco pen in there, you can see here you've also got the pink one that I've been working with. That is alongside it. So if you're wanting the pink version, this is the way to get hold of it. You've also got your blue pen in there. It's like a fibre tipped pen, and that will actually disappear either using the eraser end or just dipping it in water, spritzing it with water or washing, and that line will disappear. Freedom members got a discounted price on that one, £13.49. Brilliant value for money. If you fancy getting hold of yours, then 416178. Do pop that one into your basket. It's a nice set, that one. Now, every so often you come across a gadget and you think, what a clever idea. And this was one of those for me when I saw this arrive. You've got a series of pressing bars. Now, initially when I looked at this, I thought, oh, this is for turning tubes of fabric inside out, which to be honest, you could use it for if you wanted to. But what it's designed to do is actually create tubes of fabric that you then put these plastic bars through, and then use them almost like a mini ironing board. So that's what I did with this here. I took some pink fabric, created my little tubes, and I actually inserted a little bit of wadding through there, again not using those bars all the way through, and then stitched it in place. And you can see there you've got lots of kind of depth and dimension with this, because these are actually padded, that little heart that's on there. So that was my first attempt, and I was quite pleased with that one. But within here you've got a variety of different sizes of bars, depending on how wide or narrow you want in your bar, well, I suppose it is a bar, isn't it? You use it traditionally in Celtic designs with regards to your quilts. So this is kind of where you've got that three-dimensional loop look, where a different type of fabric has been used, and it literally sits on top of your quilt and you top stitch it in place. But it's just a very effective way of sewing. Do like that idea. And of course, needless to say, it's got full instructions on there. This is Clover. Clover always makes sure you know that you're doing when you get their products home, and you can see that there. 3 easy stages, and you can use it for making your own cord there as you wanted to as well. Really good value. When I saw this, as I say, it's one of those things I thought, gosh, I wish I'd known this has existed years ago, because it would have saved me so much time. You know, with things like your safety pin and things like that, trying to thread things through. But anyway, that's by the by. Doesn't come by itself though. It comes with a fabulous little seam ripper. Now I know many of us will have one that came with our sewing machines, but if it's anything like my machine, it tends to be quite a small seam ripper, a 2-part device that quite often when you've got a bit of pressure behind it, a bit of oomph, you will find that you're actually scooting through your fabric, not only just your seams, or your stitches should I say. So that's a nice size, and you can see it's nice and easy for you to find that one in your crafty stash. If you fancy these, £11.99. It's proving to be very popular as well. I'm liking the idea that lots of you are going for that one. So 390-620 if you're wanting those. Next one that we've got for you, again, another Clover product, another one that is very effective when you work with it. And I know I have seen one of the companies here at Hochanda, it's been a while ago now, where they actually bought us quick bias tape, because they tended to do a lot of kind of cathedral window, or stained glass style of quilting. That's where you've actually got your seams, and then you overlay the bias on top, and it kind of separates those different colours. Now you can get some really nice effects with this, using it for applique and all sorts. Now the beauty is it's only 6mm wide, so it's a really good width. Cut on the bias, so easy for you to go around your curves with this as well. But it's got kind of fusible webbing on the back of it, so as soon as you apply heat, it fuses in place. The thing that I would suggest you to do is potentially stitch it in place afterwards, especially if you are going to be washing something, certainly if you're going to be pressing it, because as soon as you go back onto an area that you've already secured in place, the heat will reactivate that adhesive, it will melt it. I mean, that bias could actually move, so just bear that in mind. So if you fancy that, again, brilliant value at £13.99, 827735. So there you go, really good value for me. We've got some really lovely gadgets during this hour. I'm glad you're taking advantage of them. Now, this is another little one that, again, it's one of those things that until you've got it, you don't realise that you really, really did need it. And this one is perfect for you to do your kind of little temporary presses with these. And quite often we'll talk about taking things to the ironing board or getting your little heat mat out, but sometimes you just want a very quick press, and that's what you can do with this. So you've got a little rotary press with this one. I've got a little bit of fabric, again, making myself a little demo area on my little plastic. These are very useful pods for these, aren't they? See a new light for them. Now I've taken some fabric here and I've just done a simple seam then. I just want to flip it over because I need to open that seam up. Now have a look, feast your eyes on that's very proud of that particular seam, but as soon as I come along with the tool and open that up and literally just fold it backwards and forwards, the heat that is created from the friction means that that seam is going to sit flat. And I'm only going to do it halfway down, just so as you can see the difference. Flip it over if you're wanting to, and then do it from the other side. But it just means I could do literally, well, you can see here, I'm doing this on a little plastic block. You don't need much space. But have a look, that's where the original seam was, standing proud, and that's where it is after giving it a little press with that friction. Really clever idea. And as I say, it's one of those things that you probably wouldn't think, oh, I must go out and get one of those. But when you see it in action and realise how useful it is, definitely something to treat yourself to. £12.99, 842973 if you're wanting to get hold of those. Down at the front, we've got some rolls of tape for you. Now you're getting two rolls of these, and it's double-sided adhesive tape, and it's called basting tape because the idea is it acts as kind of pins. It's pins on a roll, really. So rather than you actually putting your pins in, you use this to put two pieces of fabric together. You don't have to remove it though, it will wash away when you actually come to wash your project. But it's brilliant not only for actually putting two large pieces of fabric together, but think about positioning fabric as well. So things like the heart that we created here, I could actually stick in place. Be quite a tricky thing to do with pins to get that smooth edge with it. So with the basting tape there, it was a lot simpler, so definitely worth thinking about with those. Two rolls of those, as you can see, £9.99, so really good value for money. 806 400. But pom-poms, I love a pom-pom, I have to say, and I love these because they make life so much easier. Now at the top here you can see we've got two sets for you, as it says on the screen, but what you can actually make is 4 different sizes of pom-poms, because in the one card you've got 2 sizes of your pom-poms, and the other side you're going a little bit larger. We are even going to go larger than this with pom-poms, but in this set for £11.69, I think it's brilliant value for money. Now I was playing with one of the smaller ones, and what I did was I created kind of some pom-pom bunting here. So I just used double knit yarn, I've got an odd ball of each of those 2 colours, made my pom-poms and just put them onto a crocheted cord really. Separate them up, there's no glue or stitching or sewing, so it's perfect for the kids to get involved with, and just made a little bit of pom-pom bunting. But then the other side of it is, if you want to, you can bunch them all together and make them into a pom-pom caterpillar. It's quite an interesting breed, a pink and purple caterpillar, but you get my gist. Jewellery, things like that. Kids, I know these ones are a little on the large size, but you can actually trim them down to whatever size you want them to be. So you could make them much smaller if you wanted to. And by trimming away those excess pieces, it does actually give them a real fluffy look to them. Now, my kids used to love it. Well, they didn't, but I used to send them to school with little green bobble hats on, with froggy eyes on the top. And that was just literally made out of pom-poms again, so you can get quite creative with pom-poms. And of course, ooh, sorry, like I was throwing it at Molly, I wasn't, honestly. But what about those creative yarns that you've got, things that have got glitter fabric in there? You can really have some fun. I know we're a little late for Christmas decorations, but that's something that the kids could have got involved with the other side of Christmas, obviously. But yeah, if you fancy that set of 2, just £11.69. Now, I promised you we'd go large with the pom-poms, and we certainly have. Now, this pom-pom maker will allow you to make jumbo pom-poms, just like the Christmas pudding one that I made before Christmas. You can see from the packaging though, it could be a topiary tree style pom-pom that you're making. And this one I made out of chunky yarn, and I wanted to keep it a little kind of rough and ready. But had I trimmed that down, obviously I could have made it smaller, would have made it more compact, and that's where you get that kind of fluffiness that we saw on the tiny pom-poms. And again, the smaller pom-poms being used for the little cherries sitting on the top there. £9.99 for that large pom-pom maker, as you can see there, 441040. And it's a nice one if you want something to grow quickly and you want to use that big chunky yarn that you might have in your stash. So there you go. Can I hear rain? I just suddenly thought, gosh, what's that noise, and is it raining? Well, you probably can't hear it at home, so apologies, but yeah, it's raining in Oundle. Now, of course, pom-pom makers are one thing, but what about if you're wanting to keep your fabrics in place with your quilting clips? Well, we've got a couple of choices for you with these. Might be that you just want to go down the route of a single colour, or you can do. And these ones are nice because they've got a nice open jaw with these. So if you are using them on heavier weight fabrics or multiple layers, maybe you're putting a facing around, and it might be that they need to grab hold of, say, 6 different layers of fabric. That's when your pins really do make it tricky for you, because you'll find that you'll bend your pins, you may even snap your pins. With these, it's holding everything and gripping it really, really tightly. Now, you're going to get 20, all of the same colour, and I think they're all red that you're going to be getting within your bundle, so £12.99. But for the same price, if you fancy all the colours of the rainbow, then we have got another set for you. Well, I say all the colours of the rainbow, I'm not quite sure they're all in there, but there's a lot of them. So if you want an assorted pack here, you can see here we've got lots of different colours featuring here. 711309 if you want to know. And again, £12.99, so really good value for money. Needless to say, everything's on the website, so why not jump on there and have a little bit of a peruse? There's all sorts of things you could be treating yourself to. So maybe you're in the market for a new pair of patchwork scissors. Perfect for patchwork, actually, because of that serrated edge, your fabric's not going to move. So yeah, do consider those. Or maybe it's just going to be simply a little gadget like that roll and press, just to make your life a little bit easier. The double trace wheel as well, that's a useful tool to have. In fact, I think I'll show you that one before we get into the throes of the demonstration, I think, because it's a useful one for you to see. And it's just a really nice little set. It was popular in the last hour when I was here. And what you've got in there, you've got tracing paper. Not tracing paper, sorry, chalk paper. And it's chalk paper because it's actually embedded with chalk, with that same chalk that we saw within the pen. This particular time it's embedded within the paper. Now you've got pink, you've got green in here, you've also got some blue. You can see this is my set, can't you? You've got white in there for your darker fabrics, and then you've also got your yellow. So it's up to you which colour you're wanting to use. Now it comes alongside a little tracing wheel, and I have to say, when it first came, and I'm going to set this up just exactly the same way as mine was when it was set up, because it flummoxed me, it really did. Because I got this, and I kind of got to grips with it and pretty much understood how it worked, but I couldn't understand how it could work when it came to me packaged like that. Because I kept thinking, was right, okay, so I've got my 2 rollers there, I understand that it's going to trace a line, but one wheel is going to sit on top of where the previous wheel's gone. And that's when I read the packaging. It's always good to read the instructions, isn't it? So you pull out those little wheels, and what you've got is a series of little marking holes there. And this gives you the ability to mark out from, you'll see 1 being 0, it's tricky to show you that, there you go, 1 being 0 right the way through, as you can see there. I think they're about 1 centimetre apart. So you pop one wheel, say on the 0, and then you decide how far apart you want these to sit. Now the idea is one of them is going to trace the edge of your pattern piece, and it could be just a pattern piece that you've made out of photocopy paper that you kind of got an idea that you want to make a bag to fit maybe this mat in, but you're not too sure about how much extra to add for your seam allowance and how to do the maths. Well, this would allow you to literally trace and make your own seam allowance to whatever size you're wanting it to be using that guideline. And then all you do is you come along with your tracing paper, so I might use the yellow because the yellow shows up quite well on a dark. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that down like so, and this could be a piece of paper, it could be, actually on the packaging it shows you, it could be the arm of a garment or something like that. And all you do is you literally roll that along the edge, and then what that will do, it will show you where you've got now. They aren't both pushed in at the same level. Just make sure that they're both pushed in at the same level. In fact, let's turn it around and do it on the opposite side so I don't get confused by those lines. Lay that down like so. And then literally you would go around the edge like so and press. Just make sure that they're both engaged, and you can see there how you've got your 2 lines. So that is showing you then, as you work your way around, if I positioned it correctly, that basically you can trace around an item. Oops, a daisy, slippy slidey. You can trace around an item and across the edge there. It's a bit slippy on this paper at the moment. You wouldn't tend to do it with a plastic template, it's just what I had to hand. But then you can see how it's giving you those lines. So now I can see from there, that is my cut line with whatever seam allowance I wanted, and that inner line is my stitch line. So it just makes it nice and easy. And of course you can reuse that over and over again using that chalk as you go. So it's just a nice little tool. As I say, with the packaging, is that the packaging? No, I've lost the packaging. But on the packaging, it kind of shows that you can use it. Oh, there you go. I knew I've got it close to hand. So that's the kind of idea that you could use it for with a pattern piece if you're wanting to. Some patterns don't put a seam allowance in them, you see. So you'll sometimes see, quite often I've had some kits, I think they came from Russia, I think it was, and they didn't have a seam allowance, they just had the pattern piece and you had to add the seam allowance in. Sorry, I'm waving paper at you. And that tool will help you with that because it means you're keeping that balance right the way through. So yeah, if you're liking that tool, then by all means pop that one into your basket. £11.99, you're going to get your sheets of your tracing paper, but you are also going to get that fabulous little wheel as well. So if you're wanting that, definitely an addition to have in your crafty stash. I do like that one. There you go. But we're going to go back to fabric slashing, and I must admit this was something that was new to me. Now, I didn't actually have the tool for this one, so I'm going to bring the tool in again that we've got from our packaging, just to explain to you what you've got within here. So, you've got obviously the tool itself, and as I mentioned, you've got the tool, and it comes already attached with that long element there, that long arm, and that arm is going to become very useful as the time goes on, and I'll show that to you. You also get a shorter one. And this one is because if you're wanting to work on waves, then this could obviously get caught if you've got quite a tight turn. So the length that you've got there might be too much and you don't want to dig that into your seam. So you want a shorter version, which we've got there. And more importantly, as is the case with many of the Clover products, you can get your full instructions. Multi-language, but brilliant icons, brilliant images with these as well. So it's a really nice way for you to learn, very quick way for you to learn as well. And if I can learn by looking at the diagrams just before we come on air, then I know you certainly will be able to. So I'm going to pop that back in there. Now, when you actually come to the tool, you'll notice that you've got this little dial here. And what this allows you to do is actually rotate when you actually put the blade in, because you can all unscrew and everything, but when you position it, you can position it so the blade is set at a certain point. Now, I actually dismantled this earlier on to put this piece in. When we first started off, that little arrow was actually on number 1. So that little part of the blade there, if I point to it, that little segment of 1 is where I was cutting before. Because when you cut, you've just got a little area there. This actually goes back, and when you're actually cutting, it will cut through your fabrics. Well, it kind of cuts through that area. Yes, because that's going to sit in there. So it will cut through your fabrics in that area there. But it's only using a certain part of the blade. So that's almost like a marking point. So as you know that when you've worked on area 1, really you would rotate it around to area 2, then use that part of blade, area 3, and so on. Just so as you're not dulling the same part of the blade over and over again. And I mention this because I know many of you, myself included, once it started getting dull, I'd think, oh, I need to get a new blade. And I would go out and buy a new blade. But you've only used that segment. The whole of that there you would still be able to use just by simply using a different area. And it's a similar sort of setup when you're using it with the little piece there. Now, this is the effect that you get with it when you stitch in, and I'm going to show you how to stitch it in a few moments. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking your fabric, and you've got multiple layers, as you can see here. So we've got the base layer, which is always a good idea to cut it larger, and then you've got your smaller layers that are going to sit on top. These can be, well, ideally, I suppose they should be exactly the same size, but they weren't on my demonstration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. And it does suggest that you use fabrics that are going to kind of bounce up. I suggested felt earlier on, and I've managed to find some felt, so we'll have a go with that. On this occasion, I've done the curves, so I swapped that over to the shorter blade. And the idea being is basically you'll pop it, this little kind of arm will go in and kind of cut through those top layers. And the arm is protecting that underside. And then all you do is basically kind of give it a good old rough up. Now, this is one of those techniques that the more you rough it up, the better the results. So use your fingernails in there, use the size of your scissors, and it's even better if you have got fabrics that are going to fray like the cottons have here, because you can see over this side, when you start really roughing it up, you really do get an amazing result. I mean, it looks fabulous, really nice effect, but how do we get to that? Well, you need your fabric. So what I've got here I've just taken a base piece of fabric. Now, this is a piece of fabric that you won't necessarily see. It's just something that I've got from a stash, and it's kind of like a heavier weight cotton. And I've got some multiple layers of felt. Now, I've got quite a few layers of felt here. I don't know whether I've got too many, because this is a technique that I've not used with felt. But I thought, if you're going to find out if it works, why not do it live on air? So that's why I'm doing it. I've also got the liner pen, the water erasable liner pen that we've got from our pen packs. And all I'm going to do is draw a diagonal line, because you're best working on the bias of your fabric. So I'm just going to go across the top, and I do know that this will disappear when I come to washing it, so I don't need to worry. But it can be any of those marking pens if you wanted to just create a line. And this is your first guide, because this will be your first row of stitches, and from that row of stitches is where we take our kind of reference point. Now I'll hold that up. I don't know, oh, you can see it just a little bit. The fabric's awful, I know dots are terrible for on TV, but you can see that line there. But if we stitch super quick, those dots will disappear, hopefully, she says. Now I'm just going to bring my machine in, and I'm going to angle it, hopefully, so as you can see what I'm stitching at the same time. But lovely Andy in my ear will tell me if we need it any differently. And I'm just going to unravel my pedal. Right, okay, so first things first, I'm just going to set it up. Now it's going through quite a few layers of fabric, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a slightly longer stitch length, because they do suggest you just use a basting stitch. And a basting stitch tends to be a larger stitch, because you do tend to remove the stitches. You won't be removing the stitches on this though, they will stay in place. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fabric to the machine, and where you've got that line, you're just going to drop the foot down and start sewing along that line. Now it seems to be stitching through okay. So all I'm doing is the centre part of my foot has got a little red marker on there, and I'm just keeping that lined up, and I'm just going to go right the way along that blue line that I created using the water based pen, or water erasable pen should I say, and just then let that run off like so. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to come back, and I'm going to use the edge of my foot, and I'm just going to stitch with the edge of that foot in that previous row of stitches. So again, off we go like so. What you can do if you want to, because this is kind of stitching in the middle, I could just turn it round and stitch back the opposite way like so. And you're just basically doing this. Now these stitches I think are about 1 centimetre apart. If you do go off on the wobble, it's not the end of the world. But try and keep them as parallel as you possibly can, obviously keeping your stitches out the way as you go. We'll do a few rows of these, and then we will give it a bit, oh no, the thread's got caught on my foot, so let me just cut that. There's a little seam ripper, I've got it to hand. So I just caught the thread on the foot there, so it was trying to pull that through as well. Right, let's line that back up again, and off we go again. There you go. Try and keep the base as flat as you possibly can. The reason being, if you do get any kind of little loops in there, what you will find, in fact, if I put it down as needle down, there we go. I can kind of come back the opposite way. There we go. I'm not too concerned about what happens off the fabric. Now this is going to be quite a sturdy finish that I'm doing with this one, because I am using a base that is kind of like almost like a canvas cotton. But this could be something that I'm making. It might be a little mat to put, I don't know, it could be a mug rug that I'm making, or something along those lines. But showing you the way that I did it previously with the fabric shows that you could do it just with your cottons if you wanted to. Now I've got a bit of a wobble on there, but all you need to do is make sure that the gap that you've got is around 6 millimetres. The reason being is because of the actual blade and the little guide needs to have that distance. I'll just do a few more rows of this, just to give you an idea of how it's going to look. Should just do a couple more. What time are we? Are we bored yet? Are you fed up of watching me sewing yet? We'll just do another couple, because if you do a few of these, that's when you see the drama of it, you see. So I want to make sure that we can kind of see those results. So do a bit of speedy sewing and just put a couple more of those in there. There we go. And then we'll make this the last one, because there's other things I could be showing you as well. There we go. So then go along there and just cut those threads. I'm going to move my sewing machine out of the way. So you can see there, that's quite sturdy. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't know whether this is going to work out this way or not, but we will soon find out. Because what you then do is you take the tool, and then you're literally just taking it, and you're going to find the little gap between the canvas that you've got at the back, or whichever backing fabric you've got, and the rest of the fabric. So that's literally going to poke underneath like so, and then all you're going to do is basically push it along. Now I'm going to turn it around because I need to push it away from me, but also you're just keeping your fingers out of the way. Your fingers aren't going to get caught up on that blade. Now if you do find, there we go, I'm pulling this quite hard. But what I've actually done is I'm protecting, I'm pulling it, but my fingers are nowhere near that blade. But you can see how that's kind of bouncing up straight away. I was probably being a little bit over generous with my, what did I put, 5 layers of felt in there. Maybe next time I'll be a little bit more economical. But I'm a bit like that with everything. If I'm making a sandwich, I have to dislocate my jaw to get it into my mouth. Just put too much in there. What can I say? And then all you're doing, you can see here, this is going through quite well. You're just having to hold on to that fabric quite sturdy, and there is a lot there. So it just shows you the quality of this. Now you can see there already it's bouncing. I'm quite excited about this because this is looking brilliant. Oh, there goes the pedal. But here I've got a little bit of a wobble on there, so I'm just going to be careful as I go through there. Similar technique if you're doing it with a wave, because if you're doing it with a wave, you can do pretty much circles with it, to be honest. Just you would swap over and use that shorter blade, because of course that would catch. But then once you've done it, you're literally just roughing it up. And this is, as I say, the more kind of rough and tumble that you do with this and lift those layers up, that's where you get the excitement of all those gorgeous fabrics underneath. And this could be that you've got felt in there or fabric in there that you don't particularly like. You're not seeing much of it. What you're doing is you're just roughing it up. As I say, get your scissors involved if you want to. Obviously be careful with the blades as you go. And as you throw this in the washing machine, what will happen is it will become more distressed as you work your way through it. So you kind of get that tattered look to it, which I think is a fabulous look. Experiment with it as well. We've done stitches just in one direction, but you could perhaps try, actually once you've done this, stitch it in place again and then cut it in an opposite direction. There's loads of things that you can play around with and have a go with this. But I think you'll agree that when you actually rough it up, that's when it does start getting really interesting. That's got quite a weight to it there, so I could quite easily put a little mug on there if I wanted to, and as time goes on it'll get even fuller. But again, just using it with your cotton weight fabrics, if you're wanting to go down that route, you can get some nice results. Or as I say, throw in some felt, or it could be that you've got even fleecing and things like that you could be putting in there. Really have fun with it. So there you go. There you go, that is your slashing tool. If you're wanting yours, then of course you are going to get it with that long arm, also the shorter arm if you're wanting to do your circles. But do rest assured, there's lots of tuition on the internet, and of course that packaging has got that instruction sheet in there as well to make life nice and easy for you. Now of course many of the things we've been chatting about here have got that fabulous Freedom member discount, and if you've not already got yours, here's our links to explain how you can.
Hello everyone, I've got a minute or two to tell you why you should all be members of Hochanda Freedom. Did you know that with Hochanda Freedom you could be saving on your deliveries every month? For just a £6.97 monthly fee, you will benefit from unlimited standard delivery, which means the more you spend with us, the more you save. And you know the best bit, you can cancel any time. Becoming a member of Hochanda Freedom, you will also be able to take advantage of our exclusive Freedom member discounts, where you can save anything up to 20% on an already fantastic Hochanda price. Freedom members will also receive our exclusive members badge and Freedom newsletter, which will keep you updated with all the goings on behind the scenes. Just look at all these benefits for £6.97 per month. Over 10,000 of you are already members, and we thank you so much for being a part of our family and sharing your crafting passion with us. In fact, I'm now going to hand over to you to tell everyone else about your experience with Hochanda Freedom.
It's lovely because you have the special offers, don't you, that give you a nice discount off, sometimes up to 20%.
I don't have to worry about the postage. I can spend a £5 on something that I've seen as and when I've seen it, or I can spend 20 or 30 or 50 pounds, it doesn't matter.
I get special offers, I get special discounts, they tell me when everything's happening, so if there's a special show I want to watch, then it's there.
Yes, you do save. If you buy like I do, you save.
You see? You could be a member instantly for £6.97 per month with no ongoing monthly obligation. So when you want to cancel, you can. Just give us a call or go to our website quoting the item number 88888. So don't forget, you get your unlimited standard delivery, exclusive freedom discounts, members badge and a members newsletter. What are you waiting for? Join Hochanda Freedom today and become a member of the growing Hochanda family.
Certainly is a growing family, and we're getting more and more deals, more and more offers, so definitely do consider becoming one. And you can dip in and dip out whenever you like, but I must admit, I find it makes my life easy because the price on the screen, I know that is the price that I'm paying. No hidden post and packing on there. If I run out of adhesive, I can see, maybe pick it up on a deal, and I know that that saving, all that saving is going into my pocket to spend somewhere else, and certainly not on my post and packing. Now, you've got these fabulous loops that we are bringing to you, the pressing bars. I've lost my packaging. I had my packaging here a minute ago, so I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, there you go. It's over there. So, these are so clever. When they first arrived, as I said, I didn't read the instructions. I just thought that they were for turning. And then I was thinking, well, why do I need so many different widths of these? Because you are getting quite wide ones, as you can see here, going right the way through to your narrow ones. In fact, the widest one is 6mm or 1/4 inch. I've actually got the numbers on the end there to tell you. You've got 15mm, you've also got 18mm as well. So really good sizes with these ones. There's narrower ones, that's your narrowest one. So you've got 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18, and apologies that they are green on a green background. I never really thought, I think that's the Clover colour, a bit of green going on there, like Clover. Makes sense, doesn't it? So the idea of these is you can use them in different ways, to be honest, but there's some little kind of serving suggestions on here for making your tubes. Now, quite often when you're making a tube of fabric, you tend to have the seam, so the seam is on the inside of the fabric to keep it nice and neat, so you haven't got any raw edges showing. Well, these work slightly differently. So you'll start off with your fabric that you've cut on the bias ideally, and you're folding it over and you are stitching just slightly wider than the actual bar that you're planning on using. So your finished kind of tubing would be any one of these dimensions. Now I think it is it's about 15 millimetres. That was a little bit tight when I was working it earlier on, so I'm actually going to go for the 12. And the idea being is you feed it through and it gives you the ability to actually press out that seam. So easily I'm taking that in like so. Now I don't know what they're made of, but whatever they are made of will withhold heat. So you can literally press onto them. So you just need to make sure that your seam allowance isn't any more than the width of your binding, because otherwise when you stitch it down in place you will see it coming through. And all you need to do is take your iron onto that bar, and you can press and open that up like so. See how that's pressing? So that would be so fiddly to do otherwise, and I'm sure there's many of you out there that will think, gosh, yeah, why didn't I have this in my life previously? Just feed your fabric through. So whatever length that you've got of your bias tape that you're making, again, you're just pressing along that seam. Just make sure it's sitting as central as you can. You might have to kind of move it through every so often just to get a better purchase on it. If you have got a seam in your bias, if you've made your own bias, just wiggle it through any joins that you've got. And then all you're doing is you're pressing that open. Mind your fingers as you go, naturally. Going into the seam there, coming out the other side, like so. Nearly at the end. See, this would have taken me so long to do. So many scorched fingers as well in the process. But by actually pressing these, and it's not melting that bar that you've got in there, Just makes life so much easier. In fact, I was doing it earlier on. I was actually using the little roller, you know, the little roller that we had for the seam earlier on. You could use that, but obviously the heat from your iron involved does press it a little better, and giving it a little wiggle there as I go. That seems to be opening it up as well. So you're basically pressing all of that. Now, what you can do when you actually stitched it, what you might have found is that you naturally gave it a little kind of crease down the middle of it. So again, take the bar through. And as I move my fabric through, you'll be able to see where you kind of got that crease from when you actually sewed it. So again, just give it a little bit of a press out that seam as you go. Which way we're going? We're going this way now, aren't we? And just make that nice and flat. And then what you can do, you can use it just like that if you wanted to. You could apply it to your project and stitch it in place. Just be careful when you're actually pulling out the bar at the end, because I've just got to the end and I've pulled it through, forgetting that there's a heat on there. So just give it a few moments just before you pull it out, or just handle it at the edge, because it is quite warm when you're actually pulling it out. And then I just tend to just go back over with a final press just to keep everything in place like so. And then what I've done on this occasion, because I want this to have more of a padded effect, is I've cut just a little sliver of, well, it's just your wadding basically, and then all you do is you take your strip, you can pass it through. There's a couple of ways you can do it really. Pass it through like you used to, you know, with a elastic piece of elastic with a safety pin on there. Feed, now this could be ribbon, it could be elastic, it could be anything that you wanting to feed through. So even if you're not using it through tubes like this and it's going through a drawstring for a bag or anything like that, you could use it. And then again, just careful as you go, because obviously with the wadding, if I pull it too tight, then it will just tear away. So I'm just gently holding that, and as I pull that through, you'll be able to see that the wadding will be passing through there, come out to the other end, and as I say, just keep an eye on it so it's nice and flat as it goes and it doesn't turn. And then just feed it right the way through until you get to the end and pull it through the end there as well, like so. Feeding it through as it goes. There you go, and out it comes the other end. So now I've got my padded kind of cording. Oh, actually, there you go. I thought it felt a little bit thin at one end. I've actually broken it off as I've gone. Been a little overzealous. Not to worry, not to worry. We'll just use that little segment that we've got there. So I'm just going to trim that off like so. It's just one of those things, it just makes life so much easier. Like I say, it's a gadget. Yeah, it is a gadget, and it's probably something that you wouldn't even think of looking for. But when you see it and you think to yourself, you know what, that is a good idea. Because those bars, now I've bought them, I can have those for years and years and years to come. It's a one-time purchase really, isn't it? So that's a nice thing of those. Now I'm going to hang on to my pressing mat, because what I'm going to do is actually put them in place with the double-sided tape. I don't need the pressing mat actually for that. Now, the double-sided tape is exactly that. It's double-sided tape, but it's designed that you can actually stitch through it. And this is something that's quite key, because you might think, oh yeah, I've got card-making double-sided tape, but the adhesive that you've got isn't designed for going through, or your needle in your sewing machine especially going through. So with this, you could just literally trace out a design. Now, I could be using one of those fabulous pens that we've got on the show to trace out a design if I wanted to, or I could just literally just take it and put it wherever I need it to go. Now, you can kind of nick into this if you're wanting to and bend it off in one direction, take it the other direction if you're wanting to, quite easily. But what that's doing, it's giving me the base then to actually come back in and apply my kind of tubing that I created. So you can remove it all like that. Again, that could be on a seam where I'm putting two pieces of fabric together, or on this occasion I'm going to be putting it down like so. And you can just literally just follow that. Now, I've not had to get my pins involved. Anything that's exposed will wash away, so I don't have to worry about that. And then that's going to sit in place nicely like so, and then I just stitch it in place. I'm just going to grab hold of my sewing machine. We'll do a little bit of top stitching on that. It's always a good idea to secure it in place with stitches, because as I say, it will wash away. So if it's something that you're going to be washing, you don't want all your decorative work to disappear, do you? So just sort my pedal out. It's got rather attached to my iron there. There we go. So again, I'm just going to do a little bit of a top stitch. I'm going to go down each side to keep it in place. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to nudge drop the stitch back down to 2.5 and nudge it across like so. I think that will do us just about right. And then all I'm going to do, and this is the beauty, because it's stuck in place, I don't have to worry about it moving, any pins, taking pins out as I go. I can just literally just stitch that down in place, and it just makes it so, so easy. Just using the mark on my foot there to keep engaged that top stitch as I go. Could be that you're appliquing pieces in place. Could be that this is the stalk or the stem of a flower that you've done in felt, or, well, any fabric, to be honest. And you can see it stitches through there quite easily. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go across the top there, and we'll come back down the other side in the same way as we did before. It just makes it so much easier. Like I say, these are all little things that are designed by Clover to make life easier for you. Some of them are consumable, so the tape that we're looking at might be an idea. Oops, I've just gone off a little bit there. Stock up on it, keep note of the item number. But it's just one of those things that's just a useful little thing to have. And as I say, anything that's left over will just wash away when you come to do that. It's kind of like a basic shape that I followed there, but of course that could be anything that you traced, like the heart that I did on the fabric previously. But there you go. Move that out of the way again. And there you go. You can see how that has followed a nice wave there, just nice and easy, very easy for you to work with, and created using those fabulous bars. Can't recommend them highly enough, so do get those into your basket and check those baskets out. But of course, if you're wanting the bars, then you can do. They're in this bundle here. So not only are you going to get the fabulous bars, you are also going to get your little seam ripper as well. It's a nice handy seam ripper, so it's useful because of course the one that you get with your sewing machine is so tiny, and this is the trouble when you're coming to actually stitch or unpick something, should I say. It can be very tricky. I've got John Lockwood flicking things at me now. He's such a distraction. John's coming up after the break. I'll make you a pom-pom. So, pom-pom, there he is. He's after me pom-poms. Now, I'm going to make pom-poms because we've got those fabulous tools to enable you to do so. So, you've got your giant pom-poms if you want your big pom-poms. Hold on. Sounds like I'm singing a song, doesn't it, your big pom-poms? You've got your different sizes. So, your different sets that you've got your set of 4, which can bring the details up on your screen for you. And then, of course, you've got your giant size pom-pom, which is this particular one here. I'm just going to quickly, while you're just looking at that one, I'm going to grab the pom-poms that I created earlier on just to show you those. I'm going to add to our pom-pom braiding. So they all work exactly the same way, so it doesn't matter which size you are going for. And I'm just going to move these ones out of the way because I started one off, which is the smallest one, which is this size here. And all you're doing is literally taking your cord or your yarn, whatever yarn it is that you're wanting to use. I'm actually going to mix it up. I'm going to use 2 colours together. See what kind of result we get with these. And you have loads of fun. The kids love making these. And it's nice because in the past, if you've done it with bits of cardboard, that you kind of wind your wool round and then you have to go do it again, cut out more pieces, and away you go. But on this occasion, it just makes it nice and easy. So all you're doing is you're going to take your piece of cord or your yarn and put it between the 2 semicircles that you've got. You can see that they kind of come out open like a door. Just hold it between your fingers. The first couple of rotations are the fiddliest ones, to be honest. So if you want to make yourself more of a tail, you can do. Just like so, and then all you're going to do is literally just wind it round a couple of times, and then you just carry on, keep going, round and round and round, like so. And then what you can do, if you prefer, some people will actually wind it round and kind of move the tool and keep the yarn still. It's up to you, whichever way you want to do it. But you just keep going until, I'm just going to trim those bits out because they're getting in the way and they're getting on my nerves, to be honest. So trim those out to start with. Then all you do, you just keep going round and round and round, like so. Round and round and round, round a bit more. Just make sure that the flat bits that you've got at the ends there, you're not actually going over those. So you're keeping it nice and flat going round. Now this one's kind of like a strawberries and cream kind of pom-pom, because you've got the pink and the white in there. Now you'll get to a point where the semicircle in between has disappeared. And you basically put as much yarn in there as you possibly can. So all you're doing is you're making sure that, again, it's not on any of those flat bits, so bring it so it's notched into that centre bit there, and you bring the 2 together. And I'm just going to trim that piece around like so. Again, any little straggly bits that you've got sticking out, just move those out of the way. I'm going to pop my glasses on for the next bit. Then all you need is a sharp pair of scissors, and you'll notice you kind of got two prongs there, which were the two bits that opened out previously. So those little bits that came out like that are those little bits at the end there. So all you can do is you can take your scissors, and starting at that point, you're snipping through. Now just keep a firm hold on the rest of it. Obviously with the smaller one, you might want to, well, with any of them, to be honest, if you've got scissors involved, this might be the point that if you are crafting with the children, you kind of just take over. They can do all the winding bit, and then you can do the snipping. So you just cut into it like so. Okay, and then keep it closed at this stage. And then all you do is take some more of your yarn, and then you're just going to pass that through where you've got the gap. Can you see where you've kind of got that little kind of recess there? So that's going to go through there, and you just literally will tie it off. Make sure that you're using a yarn that is going to hold firm. This one's got well, it's 100% acrylic, so it's a good strong yarn. And you pull it through like that, and just do it tight like that. Then all you do is literally get hold of those parts and pull them away. So you'll pull that part out. Whoops, open it up in the process. I forgot to open the arms up. Open the arm up on that side. There's the arm, there it is. And then pull it apart like so. So those are your two parts. So those can go back together to create another pom-pom on another day without any need for cardboard at all. So that's your little tiny one. And then you end up with your pom-pom. Now you can see at the moment it's quite a scraggly looking pom-pom, and in fact you've got solid pink on one side and kind of you mix on the other. And then this is where you have to be quite brutal, and it does look as if you are cutting away a lot of your yarn when you're doing it, but the more you cut away, it's kind of the fluffier that it gets. So don't be afraid to trim it down, and if you want that kind of scraggy pom-pom looking look, then you can do. There's not a problem with that. But also what this does is it gives you the ability that if you're wanting to actually shape the pom-poms, because let's face it, I could have made this into like a little strawberry if I wanted to, couldn't I? And you're just trimming away like so. Then every so often, keep this because you can use that as toy stuffing and things like that. Just give it a little roll between your hands, and that will where it kind of gets that fluffiness from as you go. So there you go, you just keep going. Exactly the same technique with any one of those pom-poms, and then of course the beauty is you can then string them all together and make your pom-pom bunting with this, which is very popular, and you can go as small as you want with that. I'm just trimming the edges off there, but if I wanted to make it into a little itty bitty one, maybe for a piece of jewellery or something like that, you could do, just fluff it up every so often and then just keep trimming away. And then when you're happy with them, that's when you can start stringing them together and making things like your pom-pom bunting, as simple as that. So there you go, pom-pom makers, all different sizes, but you've got your set of two with the details that you've got on your screen. Set of two, technically you've got 4 in there, £11.69. See you later. So there you go, John next door. It's time for John to make an appearance with his one-day special. He's been flying out, make sure you stay tuned for that. And then we're over to our nighttime hours.
Wakey, wakey, rise and shine. Welcome to Good Morning Hochanda, your daily breakfast fix of your favourite crafts at 7 a.m. Whilst you're getting ready to start the day, join us every morning for the deal of the day, a product available at a special price but only for the 24 hours or while stocks last. Also, part of your morning routine should be the sunrise specials, your favourite crafting items available at a special low price but only for the hour. Tune in to Good Morning Hochanda and start your day with a deal.
If you love cake and you love to bake, we've got something you're going to enjoy. Here at Hochanda's Crafty Kitchen, we'll be introducing you to brand new guest demonstrators from the world of baking and cake decorating, who will be on hand to inspire you with sugar flour making techniques, food flavouring ideas, baking kits in a bottle, and as well as showcasing some very fashionable kitchen aprons. Watch out for brand new products, some very bespoke to the baking world, but others you can utilise within the world of craft, which will allow you more flexibility between the different mediums. Intrigued? Well, Set your temperatures, set your timers, and tune in every fortnight to see what's in the oven on the Crafty Kitchen.
Hi, I'm Jenny Mays from Hobby Art. Hobby Art's a family-run company and we've been designing and manufacturing stamps for over 28 years now. We have an extensive range of clear and rubber stamps and we're proud that they're all manufactured in Britain. Whatever your style, there's always something that will interest you with Hobby Art stamps. Crafting is my passion and I love teaching. I love sharing my ideas with other people. This is why I enjoy being part of the Hochanda family, because I have the time to share my ideas, maybe open a door for somebody and give them the confidence to start stamping. So make sure you join me, Jenny Mays, on Hochanda.
Hello everybody, a warm welcome. So it is 9 o'clock. I want to give a big hello to everyone watching right now, whether it's on Sky, on Hochanda.com, our website, or on Facebook. Allow me to introduce you to the ledge that is John next door. How are you doing? You are a ledge. Come on.
No, I'm not. I'm just a crafter. I keep saying that to people.
It's interesting, John, because in that short time, just when we're waiting to go on air, you've done a lot in your life.
I have done a lot in my life, yeah.
You have done a lot.
I get bored every 7 years.
Oh, okay.
I do something for 7 years and then for some reason I completely change careers.
Nothing as long as you don't change from now on.
No. It's taken me, I often said my mum paid for me to go through art college when I was a kid. And I know it doesn't sound a lot, but the base kit then was £200.
What?
Now, this is like nearly 30 years ago, so it was a lot of money, the kit we had to take. So she put me through art college, and it took me near 25 years to actually do absolutely anything with it. So now I feel I'm paying my mum back, so I've got to carry on in this. And to get a job that you love, I mean, people out there, I don't think realise that we do know how lucky we are. Yeah. I know how lucky I am to have a hobby that I love and enjoy, and not only to be able to turn that into a job, but to turn it into a career, be able to design, to be able to stand here and go, I drew this. And it's really hard to say and be proud of it, but it is fantastic to do it. So, no, this is my last one, I promise.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that. Now, look, you should be proud. I tell you what, because what you do every time, and I said this, I know, when we launched, but you get it right because you are a craft, and this is really important, because when John brings you something, it's with a purpose. So we've got something here, and you're honest in saying you haven't reinvented the wheel. Nope. The concept has been out there, but what you've done is suddenly taken a process, and I'm talking about the slider dies right here. A card, I'll just show you, I'll pick one up. Do you mind if I show this one?
No, that is your favourite, isn't it?
I like it. So look,
I'm going to demo this.
We're going to, do stick around, because we'll be demonstrating this. So the concept, if you were to make this slider, it's got that kinetic movement card, it would traditionally take you maybe an hour, I don't know, maybe less, maybe more, because you're measuring, you're cutting, it's a laborious, time-consuming card to make. But you've got the card, now you've got the die to make the card instantly.
Yes, and that's what I want. I love crafting, and what I've found is, as I go along my crafting journey, what I love is the decorating of the cards and the layering and the putting it on and the making the flowers. What I want are different cards to do and decorate, but what I don't want to do is to spend an hour and a half with scoring and folding, and I know there's some wonderful folds out there, but I really am of the belief that sometimes life's too short. If I can run 2 dies through a machine 3 or 4 times and get something like this, and it saves me time, that's what I want, and I can get to what I enjoy, which is actually the decorating and thinking of the fun things to do with it.
It's such a nice movement, and you're absolutely right, because let's think about this, because you could have wedding invitations, and it could be, I like this idea, and we were talking about this in the previous hour, what about a save the date? So you could have a picture of a couple, and then as we open it up, then it could be save the date, and you could have the date behind, or save the date.
You could have save the date, the little couple there, and then as you open it, there's the date revealed. You could do it as a gender reveal.
That is such a good idea.
Yeah, you want to let everyone know. Everyone, this big thing about gender reveals at the moment. You could do that and actually send the cards out.
You could put like a blue or a pink
we're going to be grandparents, and when you open it, there's the picture of the scan in there. Because you can now, I think you can actually get more copies and things like that. Or pictures of kids and things. I mean, I remember at school, I'm sure you were the same, where you had your school photo taken.
Yes,
or,
I remember
that.
I had a bald haircut and a fluff moustache. I looked like a young Burt Reynolds. And that was at 6.
Oh, I'm going to say, you keep telling yourself that. But you could put, a picture of the kids or the grandkids in there.
Yeah.
It's a great way to send those pictures out, rather than, those little crappy paper frames. I don't even know if they still come in
Yeah,
those.
I know the one, yeah.
But so many things that you could do with this. It's something different, but it's quick as well.
Yeah.
And the idea is it ties in. This is what we did on New Year's Eve with the dragonflies.
Which was very popular.
But it fits with it.
Yes.
If you've got anything in mind before, this is my birdcage die.
Uh-huh.
It fits that exactly.
So that's...
And this was released 2 years ago. So it fits
and everything,
with that.
you can see how much attention you put to everything.
It fits with my pocket watch die, my Time Flies pocket watch die.
Oh, I like that. And it's such a smooth movement.
Yeah.
So there's the slider, but we're not just getting the slider, we're also getting brand new, you've never seen these before, flowers. These are your blossom flowers.
So this is the blossom flower and the blossom stamp. So again, it's keeping the theme of the idea of making it easy. And I feel sometimes I don't explain it well enough, but you've got the single stamp.
Yeah.
And the single stamp stamps you 11 highly detailed flowers, exact to the edge. And then you line up the die with it, and the die has the corners missing that go over the corners that stamp on this. One cut through the machine and you will get 11 flowers cut with all of the stamp detail on them. And if you can see this one in vellum, you can see there, you can see how the white goes right to the edge.
Yeah.
You don't get that line around the outside because you're having to line up a die. But that one, you've used 1, 2, 3, 4. She's used 6. It's only used less than, just over half of the dies that come in there. You're going to get 11 flowers, all different sizes.
Now have a look at some of the inspirations using the flowers, because you can see how much fun the design team have had using these. And we've got to give a shout out to the angels.
Yes, I have to thank Leslie. I have to thank Ange, or Mrs. Duck as she's known. I have to thank Jane. I have to thank Jodie. I have to thank Lindsay, who made the drinks, which is what she said. I have to thank... Oh, I've forgotten Roshan as well. And if I've forgotten someone, I'm really sorry. But the angels are brilliant. They're friends and people I've met over my crafting journey who help me out. And that's why I class it.
Awesome.
I don't call them a design team. They are friends who help me out.
John, I really like that.
Yeah.
Look, we're busy for the one-day special, and just to get some housekeeping out the way, we're over 60% of the stock. Now, here's the thing. With the stock, I know there's certain items, we had a lot of, our starting stock was large, so we had a lot of this. And once it's gone, we genuinely can't guarantee. We've had to ask the question because it was late at night, we weren't able to get hold of anyone, so we genuinely don't know where we stand tomorrow. So it could be a question, realistically tomorrow, maybe after the 9 o'clock hour, the one-day special could go, and we might be saying to you, I'm sorry, that's all we could get, and then focus on something else. So if you do not want to miss out, I'm not trying to scare you in any way, I just don't want you to miss out. So play safe. We might get more stock tomorrow, we might not, I genuinely don't know. You're saving £8. Look at what you're actually getting though, the stamps with the coordinating die that line up beautifully because you have got those reference points in the corner. You've got the slider card, the die I should say, that makes you that innovative card. And you've got the sentiments. John has given you absolutely everything. 2 flexi payments. All of this could be yours for $22.98 today. And then obviously in 4 weeks' time, you pay your remaining $22.98. You're saving £8 either way. 083764 your item number. We are busy at the moment. Look, I understand there's been a lot of changes. I apologise for those. But the fact is, whether you're watching on Facebook, maybe you're watching on Sky at the moment or on our website, you're all part of the family and we do appreciate your company. We're going to move on. We have got more. Over half the stock has gone here. Now, John, when you showed this to me, we used it in demonstration, I really realised just how well this worked with our one-day special, because these are our flourishes and our ferns.
Yeah, this foliage to me is really important. It's what makes a flower. A bald flower stuck on a card doesn't look anywhere as nice as when it's got the right foliage. Yeah. And one of the reasons behind designing this, and if you see, I've done what I always do. You've got a mirror image, a left and a right for each of those, for the ferns. You've also got then the swirl. Now the swirl, you've got a left and a right. Yeah. So if I move those round, you can see you've got opposing pairs.
Yeah.
Because it annoys me. I bought the first foliage I ever bought was a die from Spellbinders, and it was beautiful, but it went one direction, and you could never turn it the other way. But the way it was designed,
it goes both ways.
I'll show you. This is a beautiful one by Maxine. I think I missed Maxine off earlier. Thanks, Maxine. But the idea was, if you put both together, it gives you exactly the right shape and size to base your flowers on.
Oh, yes.
Some people really struggle and have said to me, I struggle knowing how to place flowers. They give you the right directions.
Have a look at this. Now,
this is one
again,
of
Mrs. Duck taking now. This is using the flower, the blossom from the one-day special, but when you incorporate it with the ferns, I mean, they are perfect playmates. I mean, that is awesome. Absolutely stunning. Can I pop this down? Details are on your screen. $16.98 the price, but if you're a Freedom member, look what happens to the price. It suddenly tumbles to £15.28. I think I'm right in saying. Yeah,
remembered. You did remember that as well from earlier.
£4.70 is your saving. 368-165 your item number. We're going to jump to our demonstration. Let's go onto the website. We've got some eyes inks for you now. 2 bundles of eyes inks. You're getting 5 in each bundle. I know John wants to bring you different colour combinations here. Really nice palette. Both been really busy. You can see 5-star reviews. If you were hypothetically to get both options, that's 10 eyes inks. Now, eyes ink only make 20 colours. That is it. They're never going to make any more. They're never going to make any less. So that's effectively half the eyes ink collection completed for $9.99 each. So obviously just shy of £20. And then you've got some beautiful colours, because you've got your pastel colours and you've got your more earthy and green colours and your sort of pastel colours in there as well. Okay.
Right, so I think the most important thing to do first of all is show the slide card.
Yes.
How it cuts, how it works. So you're going to get these 2 dies. Now you can see mine are taped together. That's only because I've taped them together, because the idea is I hate waste.
Yeah, me too.
I think we all do. We're all really focused on it. And I know people say it's only a piece of card, but a piece of card's cost me money.
Of course.
So I don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
So they've been made to be as large as you can make it from an A4 piece of card safely. So you're going to cut those 2. Now, I did say this in the earlier show, and I will reiterate it because I want to say it on every one. Most of us have got plates that are scarred and battered. And this, when you're making a card like this, we're not going to cover it most of the time. A lot of the design team have covered it beautifully. The angels have covered it. But I like to just go with plain. Oh, I've got 2 sheets there. So, what I'm going to do is, if I cut my plates on top of there, it's going to mark it and scar it. You can see there I've got a little bit of an imprint of a stamp.
Yeah. Okay.
Put a piece of paper, a piece of copy of paper or something in between, so that you keep it nice and clean.
Right.
And we run that through.
Right.
So I'm going to cut those 2 pieces first.
Okay.
But what I also need is I need a piece for the back.
We have got our Facebook running at the moment. You might be watching us on Facebook. If you are, or however you're watching, we'd love to know if you've got any great ideas for the reveal aspect in the slider die. So with the card, what we talked about, the fact it could be a gender reveal, maybe you could put a Mr. and Mrs. behind. What we want to know, good ideas. What can you be putting? Because you've got the aspect where you slide in and reveal a hidden message.
You reveal a hidden message, a ticket, some money. You could put some money in.
Good idea.
And when you open it, it says happy birthday, and then when you actually sort of lay, you've got happy birthday. Yeah. When you actually open that, it could be a 50 quid note in there.
I know, that's my kind of reveal.
There you go, Janet. Yanis, my birthday's in October, so I'll leave you save that to put the 50 in for my birthday.
50 pence in there would fit nicely, perfectly.
Actually, it would.
Yeah, there you go.
Would work. So, I've got those 2 pieces cut, but I need another panel for the back.
Right.
I just want to show this. So, if I take these pieces out, what I can do is, I like things to be easy. So, I could cut for the back panel.
Can you just show this? When you talk about not a lot of waste, 1 sheet of A4, and what I'd use this at the bottom for the flowers. You could, if you want.
To be honest, what I would do that is have the ferns or the swirls. 2 swirls should fit on there.
Perfect.
Might as well cut them at the same time as running through. We'll try that later.
Okay.
So you need to have a second piece of this one cut. Yeah. So you can see here, that is going to be the front when I fold it.
And that little fold aspect as well gives you a beautiful finish.
Gives you a professional edge, which I'll go through. But so we could cut that bit off and that bit off. It's a bit of a waste, but you can do that. And I want to explain, the reason there isn't a die to do the back is that would actually be a separate piece of metal that size on here.
Right.
That could add up to another £6 to the retail cost of the die. It's not worth it. I wouldn't pay it, so I wouldn't expect anyone else to. But what you can do is just cut yourself a back if you want to waste less.
Okay.
So we cut that really simply to 4 inches.
That's 4 by 5 3/4.
It's well remembered. So 4 by 5 3/4, and that way we'll get 4 of those from an A4 piece. So it takes an A4 and an A6 to make it. It's a lot easier.
Do you know, my memory's improved, and I think it's down to my New Year's resolution.
Is this no coffee and...
Well, I'm no coffee or fizzy drinks, but also I'm learning Greek and I'm learning the guitar.
Oh!
The acoustic guitar.
Fantastic.
Can you
say something in Greek now?
Well, I speak a little bit.
I'm going to say, because I would have thought you would.
I do, I know, but I don't speak it fluently, so I got one of these language programs. All right, this is a year where I'm going to learn it fluently.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Right. So what we're going to do, we've got these 2 pieces, yeah? And I've just made the folds.
Yep.
Now, as you saw, I didn't emboss these through with the machine. Oh, got it running again. So I didn't emboss it.
Very friendly
but the
machine.
lines come on
with
the cuts. That's how they're designed.
Brilliant.
But if you can see there, we've got that bit that folds down.
Yeah. Now, this is a nice little touch.
That just slots in. It's really hard to get that bit wrong.
And then folds down, but it gives you such a clean finish.
You've got that real professional edge.
Rather than just having paper butted against each other,
So what we've got is, because that's the leading edge, as we used to, as you say, that's the edge people are going to see.
Yeah.
I'm using a tape runner.
Yeah, but what do you say?
Don't use a tape runner at home.
This is just for TV,
I'm doing this for TV, and I will say this, and I'll say this every time, and it sounds awful, but it doesn't matter who's told you how brilliant these are and how they'll stick forever, they won't.
Okay.
And in my opinion,
yeah.
But every time I've used one of these, I go back to a sample 3 or 4 weeks later, and they start to get a bit loose.
And especially if it's you've got the central heating.
Yeah, and the central heating dries out this commercial adhesive and makes it crack. Yeah. This is a kinetic card. It's going to move. So that movement will stress it. So I would use wet glue at home, and all my samples are made with wet glue.
Yeah.
For speed on air, I'm using a tape runner. If you do want to use tape, use red line tape as it's strong enough.
Okay.
Don't use your other ones.
Point being the fact that this is a movement card. You'll notice that John's using a linen cardstock. Now this is important because if you use a cardstock with a high gloss, because you are putting, and I know you showed this earlier on, John, it will crack.
This is the stamping card, which is my favourite stamping card I've ever used. Yeah. And this is actually, it's polished and pressed. It's got a real silky feel. The way that's made is it's run through hot rollers at the end to compress the fibres and polish it.
Yeah.
Now what happens when you break that, you break the fibres. So if you can see there, I don't know if you can get that. There we go, perfect. Can you see how that's all cracked?
Yeah.
Because those fibres have burst out. So I'm using a linen card or a textured card.
If we hold them both side by side and just show you the difference between the texture and the linen is just got a little bit more durability. And you see there, nice, still maintains its crisp, even though you're opening it and closing it. Okay.
Yeah.
So and we have got some linen cardstock on the show. We're just going to flash the details. It was popular, actually. We didn't even see it in our launch hour, and a lot of it went. So you're getting 40 sheets, 4 different colours, 10 of each, two-thirds of the stock. Actually, apologies, that was something else. But look, it is busy, so my mistake.
It is late as well, isn't it?
$10.99, you can see that you've got 40 sheets in total, and you are getting some beautiful colours in there. So, colour-wise, what are we getting? We've got like pink, purple, sort of pastel colours.
You get, I think it's a soft pink,
there we go.
White. It's soft pink, white, lilac, and amethyst, I think it is, off the top of my head.
$10.99, your price there, 775 168 your item number. Just wanted to flash those to you because if you're looking for cardstock, especially for the one-day special, that really does work, and it's what we're using right now.
It makes a real quality difference. So what I'm going to do now is, obviously, I need to cut my first aperture.
Now, this is where we've got something in the one-day special that I'm just going to show you here. So it's this little angle. That does not have any cutting detail to it, but it serves a really important purpose. John's going to show you right now.
Yeah, so this does nothing else other than be a piece of metal. Yeah, but what it does do is this gives you your positioning.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to be in that top corner where it would normally be, so it looks right.
Yeah.
Then I would place that there. Yeah. I'm going to tape it down to the mat to keep it secure.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm actually going to go with the largest of the hexagons that are in the set.
Okay.
So just make sure that's in the right place. That then,
Yeah.
let's get that right.
Mm-hmm.
That then butts up against the top
Yeah.
and the side. Can't go any further. That positions it, because obviously we need to cut a second aperture
Yeah.
in the back, and we need it to be in exactly the same place. Now, without that, we can't do it.
No. So clever, John.
So
when you were designing this, was this an answer to a problem?
this was the answer. When I started doing it, I worked out that I wanted to put the aperture needed to go there, and it needed to go through those. And then when I was making a prototype, I realised that I needed to cut another aperture through that piece. And I sat there for about half an hour thinking, how the heck am I going to make sure that that's in the same place as that? Because if I run this through, you'll see that what you would imagine, and this is what I initially thought, let's just protect that again a little bit. What I initially thought was that you can cut these two layers, so we're cutting two layers at the moment, yeah? It can't cut through 3. A die won't cut through. It won't cut through 900 GSM of card.
Okay.
And if it does, the last one is always a little bit shaggy on the edges. It's not right. So what I thought was, initially, we'll pull it out, and you can see here, that's cut through both layers with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
So it's not going to cut through 3 of them.
Okay.
But what I wondered is, obviously now I need an aperture in there.
Yeah.
So that section there needs an aperture. But if I drop the die back in, that's still not going to cut through to that third one.
Yeah.
So how do I get it in the same place? And that's when I came up with a thought. And what I remembered was something I'd used years ago called a stamp positioner.
Did you? Okay. I was going to say, did you rack your brains for the solution to this?
Well, yeah, I did. And then I remembered this old stamp positioner I had, which was shaped a bit like this. And what you used to do is, if you wanted to stamp in a certain place, you would put the stamp positioner on.
So line it up where you had it on the front.
Line it up, and then you would put your block, and it would be tall, and you put your block against it, and you could stamp it into the space. Thought, well, would that work? And the idea is yes. So all I do is on that inside bit, line that up there, take the tape, and then again, butts this against there, and against there. And when I cut that, it will be in the same place again.
As we run this through the die cutting machine, I've got to talk to you, because we're really, now, I'm genuinely surprised. Both John and myself, we thought, well, 9 o'clock, and we realised 9 o'clock is a new hour. It's relatively new. Only been running for a week now. We've been live at 9, and with the changes that have been happening recently, we didn't think we would be as busy as we are right now. And I'm so glad, because this deserves to be busy. Just got to point out, we are approaching 70% of the stock for the one-day special. Now, realistically, because we've got repeat hours during the night as well, it might get to the point where you could tune in for the first live hour tomorrow at 9 and we might be limited stock, or it could be gone. That it really genuinely could be gone. We've got a lot of viewers watch us in the States right now. Hello, in Europe, and of course the UK. Wherever you're watching, however you're watching, this is your channel, and I mean that, and I stand by it. So thank you so much for keeping us company. But look, if you want to go for the one-day special, if you like what you see, I know sometimes we like to watch the duration of the one-day special, maybe order the next day. Don't miss out. If you just want to go for the die as well by itself, that's absolutely fine. Bottom of your screen. Over 3/4 of stock gone there. And you, I know.
Yeah, no, I'm genuine.
Tell everyone what you were saying earlier on about
one of the
singles.
things is, I know when I buy, I'm a crafter, you know. I sometimes feel like I overplay that, but I'm not. I will watch and I will go, I like that one, but I don't like that that's with it.
Okay.
And I want the opportunity to buy that on its own. So I don't do any of the things where we only put like a few on. We, of this die, I actually thought that people might want this on its own. So we actually put double the number of singles that we would normally put on, and we normally put on, we're talking in the hundreds anyway.
Yeah, of course.
We put on the singles, so I'm genuinely shocked because I know how many singles we put on as well.
Details on the screen say, so whichever works for you. But if you notice, $19.99 for the single die, absolutely fine. First flexi payment, if you did want to go for everything, it's only a few pounds more. So it's whatever works for your budget. Okay?
Cool. Right, so if you can see here then, I've cut this exactly the same, but can you see that hole is in exactly the same place?
I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
No difference at all because of the position.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, the other thing you'll see there is, can you see that I can see a little bit of that through when it's closed, because it's a larger shape. Don't stress, don't worry.
Right, snip, snip.
Pair of scissors, snip that bit off.
That's it.
That's it. Don't stress because I wanted you to be able to use whatever dies you wanted at home.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so all we need to do now is to put our back on.
Right.
So I'm just going to use my tape runner again.
And we were saying the tape runner, John's only using the tape runner just for demo purposes, live TV, it's very quick, but at home we'd recommend using wet glue. If you must, if you don't want to use wet glue, then red line.
Red line tape, yeah, that's the only one I would suggest. But there we go, you can see there.
Nice. Brilliant. And it's
so
such
we're
a
not
nice,
losing
smooth
anything by
mechanism.
that little thing there.
Yeah.
But can you see at the minute it's swinging a bit loose?
Yeah.
The last thing we need to do is put some glue down there. Just make sure these first two pieces are stuck together.
Yeah.
Yeah? That slides in, we're done. Give it a press. Open, close.
One thing I've noticed, John, in just picking up the examples as well, this inspiration, it's served by a good weighted card stock, so 250, 300 GSM.
Yeah, I mean, you will find I'm actually using, I think it's 240 or 250 I'm using here. Some of my original ones I've done as, this is actually a 300 craft card.
Okay.
So this is done with 300 GSM craft card because this was due to be finished off and didn't get. So it will work and cut through both of those. So I know that these circles, when you're cutting two, it will go through 600, it will go through two 300 cards.
Brilliant. Okay. Brilliant. Would you mind if we just had a quick recap?
No,
We're going to continue
Let's
this?
me reset for the next bit.
Awesome. We're going to give you some more inspiration. If you have got the one-day special in your basket, if you're looking for any excuses to get hold of it, I think this video will give you quite a lot of them. It's such a great one-day special, and this is what John does well. He brings you something that you're going to love and you're going to use. Now, what I would say about the slider card, so slider die to be more precise, it gives you those possibilities because the slider die, if I hold it here, think about what you've got in your stash. With the one-day special, John's giving you everything that you need, but also it will work with everything else you have in your stash. So you can add your own sentiments that you already have, your own dies, your own stamps. So maybe it's going to be quite ethereal, quite light, summery. Maybe you're going to make the use of your pattern papers. So do you have any beautiful pattern papers that you want to work with in a different way? But the point with the slider card, it has that movement, that fascination. And this is a card. John said something really powerful. He said, isn't it nice as a crafter? And I wonder if you've ever had this, where you give someone the card and they ask you, oh, where did you buy that from? And he said, John, as a crafter, he really gets a kick from that. And I think we all do. If you've made something and someone asks you where you buy it, you actually say, well, actually, I made it. That's what you want to go for, and I think this is what the slider card gives you. It gives you that professional finish every time. You don't have to worry about measuring, you don't have to worry about scoring. Everything's done for you in one pass through your die cutting machine. That's your slider card, but you're getting so much more with this as well. You're getting your apertures for your slider card. You're also getting, now have a look at this. This is your new, brand new flowers. These are your Blossom flowers by John. You're getting your stamps, and you're also getting the coordinating die in the mix as well. That in itself is phenomenal. So you're getting those as part of the one-day special. 11 flowers, different sizes all on there, and you're getting the sentiments too, which allows you to really add another added layer of detail and context to your inspiration. I've got to show you something. When we talk about flowers, so using your aperture, using your flowers, I mean, these flowers are beautiful. Absolutely stunning, and when you do mix them with the ferns and the flourishes, and you can create different flowerways as well, because they're a fancy flower. Effectively, they're a catch-all. You can go in any direction that you like, and I think that's such a powerful use. Oh, this is nice. We showed this one earlier on, but have a look at that. So taking the smallest flower, and suddenly that's a cherry blossom. But you see how, and it's absolutely right, Katie, my producer, is saying everything looks so different. And that's what you want from a one-day special. We want to invest in something. So that is your one-day special. You're saving £8. £45.96 is your price, but you can split that price in half. £22.98 your first payment, and then obviously in 4 weeks' time, £22.98. We are going to talk to you about the eyes inks, because we've got 2 different bundles here. Ooh, half the stock of this option has gone. We're talking Dawn, we're talking honey, tea, walnut, and your licorice. £9.99 is your price. 931464 your item number. We've also got, this is another option for you. 60% of the stock's gone here. £9.99 your price. The wax, the rose, the overseas, the mint, and the verbena. Verbena, I should say. 216656 your item number. Just before we continue, with the inks, I just want to show you something, because we've got some flower paper. Could we, John, and I know we're going to continue with this, could we just literally just whiz some of the eyes inks down the flower paper?
Yeah.
Now, with the flower paper...
Every time I do, you go mad over it. Every time I do this,
well, if you just show... I'm just going to lift this up. So this is flower paper. Now, it has got gold mica encapsulated in it, but just seeing it like this, it's beautiful, it's elegant, it's got an iridescence, but when you put the colour down, it suddenly comes to life.
So I'm just going to take...
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
It's just the ink pad straight over.
Okay.
It's just a beautiful blue, but then when we bring it in,
now look at this.
and you see
that gold will come through.
Let's just give it a bit of a, because I've put a lot of ink on. Let's just smooth it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Sorry, I might make some flowers out of that. Can you see then the gold?
There you go. Just coming through, and you can see that they're encapsulated.
You're getting a shimmer and a shine against a normal piece of white card.
Do you know what we've got? Here we go.
You can see the real difference that you get in there. That's the one, because I've used cooler colours, haven't I? When you use the warmer colours, you bring more of the gold.
Yeah, just having a look. So there's the gold as it comes through, and you can see it just hidden behind. It is such a beautiful paper. Now look, the paper, 2/3 of the stock has gone. Details at the bottom of your screen, and that we categorically know once it's gone, it has gone. Eyes inks as well, proven very popular, and it's just good quality inks.
Good quality ink. The ink is made in France.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the packaging is made, as most things are. The packaging is made in China, as a lot is. The ink is made in France. They're actually filled in France. They're filled under vacuum in France.
Oh, okay.
And it's quite funny, because the rose sold out for a long, long time. Oh. And the rose came in, they'd managed it in the factory. They came in, they filled them all in, and when they tested it, it was 5% colour difference from the original rose.
Yeah.
So they dumped it all.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
dumped the lot and remanufactured it. The French are really funny. Because I said, could we not do it as a limited edition? I don't want to see the waste. You know, could we not have it and do it, as he said, it's not different enough. He said, but no, we don't want a product that's not 100% quality out there.
And that actually is a great story in what you're getting there.
And it's wrong, but it's right, if that makes sense.
Do you know, and also, I think size-wise, because we talk about some other brands, you get the smaller options.
It's the smaller one. You think of the little minis. It's that size. It's not. It's a decent size.
I think so.
I don't use the big ink pads anymore. I only use this size.
Well, as a crafter, why would you say why? Because you can see the actual pad. It's a good quality pad as well.
What they've done is, the good thing is with these, the pad is rubber.
Right.
It's not felt.
Yeah.
With a felt ink pad. So this is a felt ink pad. This is what you standardly get. This is my VersaFine. Yeah. So that's felt. With a light colour, if I get anything on there that contaminates it, it soaks in. It's a natural fibre. Yeah. Because these are done under vacuum, the ink is put in under vacuum. Yeah. It doesn't matter what's on top of that. You look at them. Look at the top of that. Yeah. That's how bad I treat my things. Orange and yellow mixed together. Look at the side. pure yellow. It's sat on the top, it can't soak in.
Well, you showed me an example of the white where you dirtied it and then it didn't
it doesn't affect it.
Yeah,
no. When I stamp this out, I will get at first a sort of yellowy orange.
Yeah.
But as I go, it goes back to pure yellow.
Yeah. Well, you can see it.
Back to pure yellow from the yellowy orange.
Beautiful.
Love them.
Okay, we'll continue with our demonstration.
Sorry.
If you do want to go for the eyes inks, 70% of the set that we got on the screen, and we are very busy for it. Okay.
Right, so what we're going to do this time, I'm going to actually do your favourite card.
Nice.
So I've made myself a sort of base already, but a lady asked earlier, and I think it was Belinda?
Belinda, I think you're right.
She
Yeah,
asked
good
how to make it a little bit bigger.
Okay.
So I thought we'd go for this one, which is done by Leslie, where we've got a top fold.
Yeah.
But it's that little bit bigger, and again, you could stand it like that. But it still works, even though it's flat. I know it's up. I love that.
Nice.
So what I'm going to do is, obviously, if I use my positioner, it's going to position my aperture in the bottom sort of right-hand corner, and I want it central.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, just some of the gems moved, I think, when we were handling it.
So I'm going to use a little bit of blue ink on this because I've got some blue ink smeared on it, so I'll use that in a bit.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do another way of doing it. So I'm going to roughly place my circle in the sort of bottom third to cut my 2 layers, and I'm going to tape it down as I did before, and I'm just going to cut those 2 layers together.
Okay.
So I'm going to run those through. But obviously, if I use my positioner, it's not going to fit, is it? Because it's not in the same place.
Okay.
And this is what you can do, again, if you're using other dies or more fancy dies, because I designed it so that you can do, as Leslie's done with this one, she's used a rectangular die.
Yeah.
Well, there isn't one in the set. It's designed to use what you've got at home.
Good.
You know.
I like that.
Yeah, use studio lights, you know, use spellbinders, you know, use Sue Wilson's, use what you've got, will work with it. But, so I've got that now nicely in the middle, but I've no idea how am I going to get, let's take that little bit out there. So this sometimes, you can see there the tab is a little bit over, yeah? So I'm just going to break that bit off, it's fine, yeah?
Okay.
But obviously, I need that on this inside here.
Yeah.
So what I do is take a pencil, draw around the shape.
Clever.
Open it out.
Yeah.
Take my die.
Very clever,
and
John.
put it on the pencil line.
Done.
Just flatten that one out. There we go. And we can cut that, and that should hopefully be, it won't be as precise as it is with the positioner.
Okay.
It is more precise as we've seen in the first demo with the positioner, but this will still work. So, hopefully. I love this bit when we sat there waiting. They should play a tune, shouldn't they, really?
So
if you get it to play greens,
if you brought us a die cutting machine, you've got to have
play the
music.
tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'd get sick of green sleeves after a while, or whatever it was. Yeah, my dad once fitted us an alarm at home, and if there was a fault on the line, it played the Yellow Rose of Texas in an electronic voice. After 2 days, we were sick to death.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Why he didn't pay someone to fit it, I have no idea. But it took hours.
That's a man thing to do.
But
I'll do it myself.
Yeah, if you can see there, because we've used the circle, you can't see that it's in a different place.
Perfect.
It's slightly off, but it's actually really...
I think that's very good.
Yeah, that's quite good. So I'm going to, as per usual, stick the back on.
Okay.
Now the back adheres to this little section here.
Yeah.
So again, use wet glue at home. I'm going to put that one on. So then,
nice.
It's in the middle.
Brilliant.
Yeah, if I do it that way. But again, it's bang in the centre. So you could do this if you want it in the centre. So what I've done is, I've made a set of mats and layers.
Okay.
And I have a real simple thing on this. The first layer, to stand out, I've gone 1/4 inch bigger. Then this layer is 1/8 of an inch. This is 1 inch bigger than that one, and I work on that way.
Brilliant.
So every layer for me is either 1/8 of an inch or 1 inch.
Okay.
But you can see there, suddenly we're taking it into a bigger, more...
It looks, yeah, so you made it, even though the mechanism obviously is the same size, the card, the overall inspiration.
That's, you know, that's the original.
Yeah.
but now suddenly we're making it a little bit bigger.
It does look a bit more imposing,
so
yeah.
we're going to decorate this, so we're going to stamp the sentiments on. So I'll find my stamp press again. Again, my lovely, clean, well-used press to impress.
Now, what you're seeing here, John has got a paper kit, so toolkit. So what you're getting is the acetate, the paper, and you're also getting the eraser in there as well. We'll just put the detail, $9.99 your price there. Good price, but it's something that you made it more of it's habit now to use.
It is, because, my stamps, as I explained earlier, so if you missed the earlier show, I'll explain again. These are my original stamps.
Yeah.
Now, these are mucky. I can hardly hold them up. The only reason is I'm using a new set for the show, and the only reason is I lost one of mine.
Okay.
It's somewhere got lost. Last weekend.
Is it not under there?
No, look. Sam put these back for me the other night. I'm that one missing.
Okay.
So I had to nick a new set.
That's
Usually my stamps are mucky.
Okay.
But I really struggle with sentiments, with getting them straight.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
You were
And
saying if you
every card of mine, you can tell which one of mine is because they're wonky.
Okay.
Trust me, they will always be wonky.
That's your thing.
It is my thing. But this time, by using this, it butts up. It gives me straight lines everywhere.
Nice.
So I can make sure that this happy birthday is straight by getting the edge of it against one of the lines.
Perfect.
So I now know that that is straight. Now, obviously...
See, the difference is, I know that some stamping platforms have lines on there, but that's no good to you.
There's no use for the stamps. No.
So here, you've got that reference all over, so you make sure that it's right in the centre, either side on there.
Yeah, I can even count across and go, right, OK, this circle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 centimetres wide, yeah? So the middle of it will be 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the middle. So I know the exact middle. I can do the same there. 1, 2, 3, you know, and get it exactly right, but get it straight. Right. So I've now got that straight in the middle, hopefully, where I want it.
And you say your first pack lasted you about a year?
Yeah.
And that's it. You think how much crafting John does?
These aren't like... Just have a feel, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like a piece of acetate you die cut or you buy.
No, that's good quality,
it's almost...
At last.
I don't know, I can't explain what it is. It doesn't feel like acetate.
And you say wipe it, you can wipe them down?
Wipe them clean, yeah. It's acetate, isn't it? So I'm just going to give this a stamp. So we're going to go, happy birthday.
And we're using the licorice from the Isaacs?
Yeah, because it's just that bit softer.
Yeah.
It's not quite as vicious as a black.
Okay.
So it's a little bit softer.
Yeah.
So we've got a happy birthday, our first message.
Lovely.
I'm going to open that out. Yeah. So that's where I want my next message in. So let's just work this one out. So it needs to go that way. So we'll fit this in, take that one away, bring my acetate back in so I get it straight. Keep buying some every time they come in. I lose everything. So I'm going to go with, we'll go with this one, shall we?
Okay.
Love, you think it's your favourite. Loved you then, love you still, always have and always will.
That's just a really nice sentiment.
And I have to say thank you to Maxine for the sentiments, because she sent me most of them, if not all of them. Because we struggle. Okay, so I've got that one. I'm going to close the lid.
Yeah.
Again, I know it's in straight line. I know it's where I want it to be. A little bit of the eye ink in licorice, so it's less vicious than a black. There we go.
These are really nice, and you see how the sentiments, I think, a great addition in the one-day special. I'm so glad you put them in, because they give you that reveal, so you can either start with them or then flip it around.
Yeah.
But it's lovely to have that, and they're very nice sentiments.
So we've got happy birthday, and then, when it opens, the lovely sentiment that you would put in the inside of a card. Yeah. So this is how I leave them on platforms and things. This is how I lose them. So I've got this one a little bit mucky, so we're going to actually put a little bit of colour onto here. So I used some blue earlier, didn't I? Whether this will colour match, I don't know, but we'll give it a go.
So I heard a bit of a revelation. I'll tell you about Katie, Katie, our producer. She revealed something to me. I'm going to have to share it with the nation. Breaking her trust here, because we all know she's in a power couple. They're like the Jay-Z and Beyonce, so it's Katie and Ross, both producers here, and they're the Jay-Z and Beyonce of the crafting world.
Oh, they are, without a shadow of a doubt.
Katie revealed that she has another man in her life. I'm sorry, Katie.
That's
you know
a
what?
horse.
Oh, I've got to tell you, It is. It's Roger.
Yes, I know Roger.
Roger.
I've seen pictures of Roger and Katie together.
Well, she's. We've got so many directions here. Roger is her horse.
Yes. Which is why I've seen pictures of them together.
He's a cute horse.
He is a very cute horse.
Katie's a very talented rider.
I did hear that.
A lot of rosettes, Katie.
And not just from her own Facebook page.
I know.
Other social media available.
Yeah.
Sorry. Now, if you see what I've done there, I've made a mess of that because I picked up a doorbell that was mucky.
Well, that's all right.
So I've made it quite mucky.
Do you know what I thought you were going to do? Put the flowers on and it looks quite earthy. No?
What I'm going to do...
Are we going to cover it up?
Is I'm going to cover it up. So I'm going to use a scrap of the card with the die.
Okay.
And I'm just going to take this. And when you're using this, if you would normally... I would always think to take a full sheet and cut all that just for that panel. Well, that's a ridiculous waste.
Of course.
So what I do is I tape it down to the plates. So that's glued to the plate.
Yeah. So you know that's it.
So, and I know it's in the right place rather than trying to tape it down to a scrap of card.
John, I do like the fact that John's... He won't... If he made a mistake, he'll say it. He'll say, I picked up a dirty doorbell, and he won't try and cover it up.
Nope, no
he'll say, this is what... But it's nice, because we've all been in the situation, so showing how you find a solution to it.
We've all done it.
I thought that was the colour you were going for.
No, I don't kind of go for... I don't even know what I'd call that one.
It just looked
the one I used over the top, wasn't it?
Woodland feel, that's got a bit of a mossy feel to it.
It would, but it won't match with the colours that I've got for the rest of the mats and layers.
Fair enough.
What I'm going to do...
But now, it begs the question, how are we going to get the hole in the right place?
So, if you remember from last time, we have to find our scissors.
Okay.
So I'm just going to chop this down. So it gives me...
So there would have been our score points.
Yeah, okay. So, what I'm going to do...
And that's, by the way, those are the score lines. I don't think it's not that the die didn't cut. It's just that's where it naturally would have scored.
Score lines.
Yep.
But I'm going to take this down. Okay. So remember I said about all those layers were 1/8 of an inch. So this is 4 inches. So I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off. And this measurement is 5 3/4, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to take
another
1/8 of an inch off that, just to give me the border all the way around.
Okay.
So that it doesn't look quite so contrived. So at the moment you can see, there we go, I've got that nice little border all the way around.
So you've got the continuity throughout the card.
So what I'm going to do is just slide this.
Pencil?
Yep. Open that out. Slide this into there and use a pencil.
Perfect.
So we'll just get it in the right place. There we go. Pencil. Line that. Take the die. That's the larger one. No, I'm using the larger one.
Okay. Sorry.
Purposefully.
Okay. So again, it gives you that little bit
so
of
it gives me that little bit of layering all the way around. And I tend to try and design the dies so that I've got the same layer of 1/8 of an inch around them.
Okay. Now, by 1/8 of an inch, just for anyone who's just tuned in, so this is what we're working off of. These are our mats and layers, and you can see how you've just got that little border, 1/8 of an inch here. So we're just continuing that continuity coming through. Okay.
So there we go. So we'll just take that off. And then we've got, of course, our piece.
Oh, perfect.
There we go.
Lovely.
That fits all the way around. So if there's something you can cover off, I'll glue this bits down.
Yeah, we can do that.
Minute,
We have a
and
little
then I'll
bit
do
of a
some
recap.
flowers. We'll do some flowers to go on it.
Perfect. I will be quick. We're going to just jump onto the website and show you all the goodies on there. I'll tell you what, Katie, I want to treat you. So anything, what would you like? And Andy as well. What do you guys like? Linen card pack for Katie? What? Oh, and Andy going for the doorbells. Now, actually, Andy's got a little bit of a question. We'll ask John when we get back to him because he's known he's got quite big hands, big fingers, so like chubby hands. And I don't know how else to describe it, Andy. He wants to know if his fingers would fit into sausage fingers. Would his fingers fit into the doorbells, John?
Mine do, and I've got really bad sausage fingers.
Okay, so there
mine
we
are
go.
like a packet of walls in a fridge, to be honest.
Sausages. Okay. So just having a look, other sausages are available. Now we're going to have a look at the one-day special. Have to say, John, look, every time he comes in, there's a reason why John's so popular, because he brings the stuff that you're going to absolutely love. This die will never date. I'll tell you why, because what you are getting is the foundation. So let's just say in 2 or 3 years' time, I know at the moment unicorns are very popular, but it might be a walrus, I don't know, whatever. But then you can just decorate it with different papers, different dyes. It works with everything. But the foundation, that movement, that reveal will never date. You're getting that kinetic movement coming through. And this is the essence of the one-day special. The fact that you're getting something that works so beautifully. Now, once you start adding all the other elements of the one-day special in, the flowers, those gorgeous bloom flowers, brand new, which do have the pointillism detail in there if you want to take advantage of that. Look at this. But are you seeing how the movement is so slick, so smooth coming through? So and that is the real essence of this one-day special. But you're not just restricted to using the slider card, because you're getting so many other elements. You're getting beautiful flowers to take advantage of, wonderful sentiments. All of that just gives you scope, gives you creativity to really go to town. Oh, I'm going to show you this one. This one's nice. Do you see how you've got stuff in here? I have to say, I know John doesn't call his angels his design team. They're just helpers who really enjoy everything he supplies. But you can see how much everyone who's contributed to this show with inspirations has really relished the fact. Oh, and by the way, Trish, thank you so much, saying that she's loving the demos. And I'd like to actually double that, because, or second that, because John always loves it. You can see how much he enjoys sharing his techniques with you, and also giving you a chance to make the most out of everything he brings. You can follow John on social media, and what I'd advise, if you've gone for the one-day special, find him on YouTube. Obviously there's loads of different social media out there, but if you find him on YouTube, he's got tutorials using the slider die, and it's literally just John's hands working with the die. And I'm right in saying that, John, yeah? So do have a look and just get the most from your one-day special. One-day special, saving £8, £22.98 your price. We genuinely could be in a position tomorrow morning at 9 where we might be limited stock. Potentially we could even be sold out of our one-day special. We've got to see what happens. But either way, I really don't see this one-day special lasting till final call. And I will stand by that statement, considering we're approaching 70%. Are we approaching 70% of the stock? We are approaching 70%. I couldn't believe it. 70% of the stock. All right, we're going to get back to it. I just want to show you another item that's proven very popular. Now, this works beautifully with your one-day special. You've got your fern and your flourishes coming through. So just going to flash the details up here. So it's your John Next Door fern and your leafy flourishes, to give it its precise name. $16.98, but if you are a Freedom member, that price comes down to $15.28. 368 165, your item number. All right, we're going to continue our demonstration.
Cool. Right, so I've taken a piece of the amethyst linen card,
yeah,
and I'm just giving it a anti-static bag. And I always say this, but I think it's something I never used to get. It's not magic cloth.
Yeah.
It's not a quick wipe over with magic cloth. Get some powder out. It's the powder that does the job.
That's it.
Not the magic cloth on there.
Okay.
Just to take the fingerprints off, and I'm using my eyes ink embossing ink. And I love the fact that this is quite a detailed stamp. And it was done, as you said, it's all done with pointillism. And yes, I put every point on myself.
Yeah.
Quite happy to say when I have and when I haven't.
Yeah. To prove the point.
Yeah. And again, I drew it once and then repeated it. I'm not daft. But even on the linen card, with the texture, it gives a really nice feel of that texture against the dots. Can you see?
Oh, yeah, I like
now,
that.
I personally love to do this. Let this dry and have a watermarked effect. And it looks like you've coloured and shaded. Now, normally, we know that embossing ink stays sticky for quite a while. So if I wasn't careful, you know, I'd need to leave that for a good half an hour, ideally, overnight. And I'm sorry, life's too short. So should we use some powder?
Yeah, let's do it.
Quickly. Let's see if we can actually heat emboss and cut and shape at least one flower within the 5 minutes we've got left.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Look, that. Do we
Can
put
you
that
see?
back in there?
Hang on, I've missed some bits.
Okay. Well done.
There we go. If you could, that'd be great. Thanks, Uncle Yanis.
Okay.
So I'm just going to heat emboss this. So again, heat gun on, preheat it. I'm really lucky I've got the two-speed wow one with this metal thing, because it heats up so quick. It's the best. Yeah, it is the best one I've ever used.
It's the only the heat tool I've had. Is my first one.
Oh,
So I think I've been spoiled.
You have been spoiled, yeah. You will find a difference if you're at a workshop and using something else.
Okay.
You will see a real difference. because it heats so quickly. The quicker it gets hot, the less it warps your card, because what it actually does, the heat pulls moisture out of your card. Can you see the colours changing?
Oh yeah.
I don't think you can get this on camera,
right?
But it's actually going a sort of yellowy pink colour to us.
Yeah, yeah.
As it heats.
Oh, you can see that.
Yeah.
The actual card, yeah.
And what's actually happening is the moisture in the card's been driven out.
Ah.
So the hotter it is, the less time it's in contact.
Yeah.
And so it actually means the less you damage the card.
Lovely. Okay.
So that's all done, but even on textured card, you can see how well. That's why we have the stamps made in the UK in photopolymer. All you do, match corner and corner. You can even see through, so it doesn't matter, but it means that you get all of that detail to the edge, rather than having a... If you did this, I'd have a purple line all the way around with the traditional die system of doing it. Because what happens is, traditional way, you have to see through.
Got 3 minutes.
Oh, right, sorry. I can keep talking for hours, you know me. But you do. So what they do is, this stamp is made to be 1/8 of an inch smaller. But when you cut it, it means that you get a line all the way around. So with this, I'd get a purple line all the way around, which spoils the illusion.
But I mean, I remember when you first started bringing us dies that had that reference, so you can precision perfectly.
And that's the idea. So let's make it easy. You know, let's make crafting as easy as we can, because the fun bit, you see there, all of those right to the edge.
Yeah. Perfect.
You're not losing anything. I'm not going to pick them all up because I know we're running short on time and Andy will shout at me. And, you know, it's okay, Katie's fine, but I don't want Andy shouting at me. That's far more scary. So we'll bring in, this is the card. All I've done, you can see this is still the one I did, because you can see the slightly mucky line, but now that mucky line looks as if I've just aged it a bit and distressed it. So I'm just simply going to take my glue glaze, a little bit on the back of this. Is what, if you go on Rewind and watch the show at for the last show, the last hour at 7, was it?
Yeah,
no,
it was
6 till 7?
Yeah, that's right.
Or 7 till, you'll see how we made this using Yanis's favourite ugly paper.
Oh, it was what we're seeing. Now, Jo sent in a message saying that she, thank you so much, by the way, Jo. She loves the fact that you can cut several flowers at once and they're really accurate every time. Yeah,
if you one off your all off, it's so easy to get it completely right with this. You know, and it is, we are expanding out. There are coming this year different designs that have the connections at the edges.
Okay.
So it won't just be flowers, there'll be other ones coming. So all I'm going to do is just add one little flower on, or one little piled up, and all I've done is pinch the petals to give me a different look again. 1, offset with 2, and we'll offset with 3. If I can get that one in, because we've got about less than a minute, I'm sure, and Andy will shout at me.
45 seconds.
There we go, done.
Done. And what a beautiful inspiration. It just shows you what you can be achieving with our fantastic one-day special. It is absolutely fantastic. So whether it is a save the date, whether it is an anniversary, a birthday card, a thinking of you card, a sympathy card, it can be, and that is the real beauty of the slider card, it can be whatever you want it to be. It's not restricted by any genre. Thank you so much, John. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your company as well. Really hope you've enjoyed it. John will be live tomorrow from 9, 1 and 5.
Yes.
Sure you've got lots for us?
Hopefully, yes. Got lots if it lasts.
Well, that's it. Got lots of ideas. Whether we've got stock, not so sure. So get hold of your one-day special while you still can. So coming up next, we have All in Create. After that, a repeat hour of our John Next Door fantastic one-day special. And then we've got an hour for all you car enthusiasts. A little bit of ultimate finish.
Flexi order has arrived at Hochanda. What is Flexi order? When you place an item on FlexiBuy in your basket, you qualify for Flexi order, which means any other items you add to your basket will also be included in your FlexiBuy payments, so you can spread the cost over multiple monthly payments. After your first payment is made, your entire order will be dispatched. When you add at least £60 worth of any items to your shopping basket, either online or on the phone, you'll qualify for our Flexi Order offer. This means you can spread the cost of your order over equal monthly Flexi-buy payments, offering you the extra flexibility when you shop with us. Flexi Order, making your shopping experience with Hochanda easier.
Hi, I'm Hayley. Join me for some amazing Fabric Freedom shows. Fabric Freedom design all their fabrics here in the UK, and they design them with quilters in mind, so they're really good at picking out those unidirectional prints, really nice and small prints so you can work on smaller patchwork projects, and paste prints as well, which is one of their signature fabrics. They do lots more fabrics besides quilting cottons, so tune in to the Fabric Freedom shows here on Hochanda.
Hi, I'm Andy from Picture This. I've been a painter all my life. Picture This was actually formed on the back of a throwaway remark from one of my art students. This has developed my drawings into a series of photopolymer stamps, clear stamps for the crafting community and the crafting industry. The stamps are all hand-drawn by me, they're made in the UK, most important to us at Picture This, and we have so much more to bring. Our shows on Hochanda, we hope to make them informative, amusing obviously, entertaining, but mainly it's about bringing the creative spirit to you. Make sure you tune in and watch the Picture This shows on Hochanda.